Boom, we're rolling. Mr. Kennedy, thanks for coming on, brother.
No, thank you for having me, Tyler. Appreciate it, man.
No, it's an honor having you, man. I'm glad that we can make this happen. You were very, you'd be surprised. I've had a lot of guys on, and comms are kind of wishy-washy. Comms with you are fucking fantastic, so I always appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem, man. Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out to me uh as before we texted, but I found you I would say probably like 3 months ago now, or a couple months ago at least, on that Wild and Chaos. I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah, with
called that.
Bam.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch your podcast. I like his podcast, but then I specifically watched yours, and that's kind of how I came on to you a little bit, and I appreciated your backstory and what you're doing now, man. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, so you do listen to Bams kind of regularly, or?
Yeah, I do. Yours was my first one, and then I was like, dude, I like this guy, I like the guests that he has on. So now I've been listening to him. So,
Bam does a great job, especially with like LEO guys who aren't in there anymore, and he just gives them a safe space to just kind of say what the deal is. I love it. I was not expecting our episode to do what it did, and I don't know. Bam just got a way of like making you feel comfortable and just going for it.
yeah.
hmm Yeah, once you retire, you need to go on that show and tell all your fun stories.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're Arizona. You're not from there though, are you?
No, originally from California. I
Okay,
grew up in
right.
Huntington Beach.
Okay.
It's in SoCal.
And
So I spent the majority of my time, or all my time in actual SEAL teams was on the East Coast. I did like an instructor duty stint back in San Diego, but that was a brief period.
were you happy to kind of get out of the West Coast and go to the other side of the country, or not really?
I would say at first I was a little pissed. I was because I actually wanted West Coast. Like I was going through the medic course in North Carolina, so towards the end you pick your little dream sheet,
hmm
and everyone I picked was West Coast, every team, and they're like, "Hey, you're getting team four," and I was like, "The needs of the Navy." So I was
hmm
like, "Whatever." Long hindsight being 2020, looking back, I don't regret it. I love working on the East Coast, and I actually really enjoyed living in Virginia Beach. So it was a good experience for me.
I had to do a little research on you, obviously. So, like, the best thing that I could think of was to listen to the Sean Ryan episode. You were number two, which is
Yeah.
probably pretty surreal seeing where that show is now, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. That's skyrocketed since because I did that barely shortly after I got out. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
within 6 months at least. So
And one thing that stood out to me, dude, is like you were training pretty freaking hard, like in high school for that, correct?
yeah, yeah.
So you're 16, 17 years old, however old you are, doing all that. Not a lot of people are that age kind of going for something like that. What was like your friends saying? Like, did you just not do anything besides train? Like that had to be, I mean, that takes a lot from a young kid like that to really know what they want to train that hard for something.
I don't know, man. I got the bug early on, and I just honestly I just became like fucking obsessed with it. As soon as I got turned on to the SEALs, and because I really didn't know about them until I was like 16 years old, 17 years old, and the sophomore going into junior year, like I started really hitting it heavy. As far as my training is concerned, like I bought 12 Weeks to Buds, like Stu Smith's book. I watched the documentaries. I kind of had an idea like what I needed to do. Um, I was still in high school. I played a lot of sports. I told a couple people what I was doing. They kind of laughed, kind of scoffed it off a little bit, like, yeah, no, dude, like, yeah, right. And they didn't even know what it was. I knew more about it than they did, but they heard of Navy SEALs, and I remember my lacrosse coach would like hold it over my head, uh, because I used to be really into lacrosse and like throughout my high school years, and like when I was becoming like a
I'm
senior.
not gonna hold that against you, Travis. I'm a baseball guy. I'll let that one slide today.
Yeah, I started baseball when I was a little kid, and once I got in high school, I like lacrosse. Once I found lacrosse, I was like, this is my sport. But like he would hold it over my head because I would be like a cocky little prick sometimes and just
hmm
like have an attitude, and he would just be like, "Hey, you think you're gonna be a SEAL, talk, acting like that?" And so, not to say that everyone was a naysayer. My parents were supportive. My dad's the one who turned me on to it. Um, I would say I had to like win him over. as far as like showing my dedication and stuff like that. Like, hey, I'm serious about this. And honestly, if it wasn't for my parents, dude, I wouldn't be that successful. Like literally, I lived a block from the beach in high school, so I had full access to the Pacific Ocean. My dad paid for like my scuba lessons all the way to like a rest patty rescue diver, so I was like confident in the water. I had my dad paid for 24-hour fitness sport. Like I had full access to a swimming pool, gym, personal trainer. Like literally, I had everything. So I'm very grateful. So it was all up to my work ethic to like get it done at the end of the day, but I had all the tools. I didn't grow up like landlocked or anything like that, but yeah, I just got the bug early, man. And I've always been into being a soldier or being a police officer, like ever since I was a child.
Is it crazy looking back to see that you've accomplished both of those at a very, very high level?
It is. I mean, looking back, it is surreal now that I'm done being a SEAL, and now that I'm a police officer. It is surreal. Um, that just kind of shows you what the hard work pays off, man. I'm a true believer on just working hard and good things will come of that. I think that'll beat natural talent in a lot of ways too.
Agreed. I know it kind of took Sean back, and it took me back a little bit as well, and probably most of the listeners on that episode, but your dad was the one, he gave you like a pamphlet or something, didn't he?
Yeah, because at the time we were talking about what I was gonna do, like after high
Yeah.
school, college. I told him, hey, like we discussed like Naval Academy. I soon went out the window because I did not have the grades for that, dude. I was like, maybe I could be a pilot, I could go Naval Academy. No, yeah, right. I was a mediocre student. I was average, dude. Um, yeah, and then it was more of like in the sense my father was like, hey, if you're gonna join the military, you're gonna do something unique. Like you're not gonna just join to join,
Uh-huh.
and just be some type of grunt. Um, so yeah, I had like a little trifold pamphlet back in the day. This is like '05 because I graduated in '06, so '04, '05 ish. And he's like, "Hey, check this out." And at the time, I had no clue what the hell SEALs were. I didn't really know what special forces were. Um, and really, the SEALs attracted me for the maritime aspect because I grew up in Southern California. I grew up at the water, by the beach and the ocean a lot. And I was like, this is me. This is because then I started diving in, like and looking at like Green Berets, like the other branches and stuff like that, and kind of learning what the soft community was all about. And SEALs really attracted me, um, based off that maritime aspect.
Yeah, I mean because you know it, man. Like especially nowadays, a lot of parents are like, "No, like I do not want my kids to go to the military."
Yeah.
And for your dad to not only like kind of suggest that, but at the highest level, to me is crazy. It seems like y'all have a really, really strong relationship. It was so cool when he kind of called in and I got to hear you guys have a conversation. He's an entrepreneur, right?
He is, yeah. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
an entrepreneur his whole career pretty much. He's a wedding photographer and he's a professional photographer. He's been probably 30 years now.
No
Um,
kidding.
and like he started out like doing the grind. Like I remember when I was a kid, he was a photographer. We had like he'd buy like he had like three ponies and we would drive around taking photos, like doing photo shoots with like literally put horses in the back of like a we had this big old like van and go to place house to house and then he worked for somebody, learned skills, and then he kind of just he created his own wedding photographer company and now he's the top wedding photographer in Orange County, California, which is like one of the premier spots to be in the wedding
For
business.
sure.
So I got to see that grind. He had me and my parents when they're 19 and 20 years old. Me and my sister. I have a younger sister. So yeah, just that work ethic growing up is just it was cool to see. And like I mentioned before, that hard work, pays off.
We just had a kid, dude. I'm 31. I can't imagine having a kid at 19 or 20 years old. Like I barely knew my ass from the hole in the ground.
Oh, I know. And congratulations on a new kid, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
and I
brother.
I could not me when I was 20, no. Like I'm
You're an idiot.
37.
I was an
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, there is no chance in hell that I could have had a kid, let alone be married. Like when I was in the SEAL teams, I had no desire to get married, nor no desire to have children. Um, I don't know. It wasn't like I was like scared of it or anything. Um, I do want to be a father, and I'm married now. So, but honestly, I was enamored with my job, man. I was like too into my job. I
Yeah.
was too into my shit and too into myself
Mm,
and like
mm,
selfish reasons too. But,
mm.
and I had no time, no patience for that outside of like work related things. It was either like work or play basically for me in my 20s.
Well, you hear DJ talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, I'm sure you've heard him kind of like the dials and switches type of shit. Like, there's guys that can do it, but if you're not all in on it, man, it makes it really fucking difficult. Like, you got the dog, you got, hey, let's go out, let's do this. It's like,
Yeah.
no. Like, you guys just get so obsessed with it, which I think it's a job that requires that. So any outside things I think can really be detrimental.
It does. It does require everything from you. Uh,
Yeah.
it requires you to put the team over your own family. It really does. They might say differently, but it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the team above all. And I didn't have a problem with that. Um, I definitely, looking back, I definitely sacrificed a lot of time with family and friends due to the job, but that's just the nature of it. I mean, if you want to do something, unique, special, you want to do something at that level, like it requires sacrifice. It's not just like fun and games all the time, which nowadays it kind of portrays as that. It's glamorized a lot of ways, but I don't regret it one bit. I love what I did. So just it's just kind of like you grow as you age, like when you're in your early 20s, like I didn't give a shit about any of that. I really just cared about being good at my job. And when I had downtime, it was my time to go out with friends and party or do whatever I wanted to do. So
Hmm. Hmm. When you're training in high school, do you have like a pair of boots on? Are you literally running these miles with boots on the beach? And like, how did you just try to make it as realistic to the thing and practice how you think that the game was gonna go?
yeah, I did. I bought the Bates
Fuck
lights,
yeah.
the issued boots. I bought the BDU pants, and I would do like once or twice a week. I would do a 4 mile beach run in boots and pants, and that was like towards the tail end, just to get ready to run in soft sand, run in hard pack. I wouldn't do it every day, but yeah, I would literally be a freak, dude. It'd be like midnight or something in high school. And be like, I gotta go swim. I gotta go to the gym, and I would like go to the fucking gym, 24 hours fitness at the pool, and hop in and do like a mile swim, or I would do the 500-meter for time and just put out and like I would just be a freak like that. Like, dude, I'm slipping a little bit. I have to go do this. You know what I mean? In reality, I wasn't, but like, dude, it paid. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. You to be successful in these things, like, and make it through these types of programs, you have to be that way. And even when I got there, like, I wasn't even prepared. You know what I mean?
That's
So it's like,
crazy, man.
like I
That's
was prepared in
crazy.
some ways, but like I wasn't even prepared for everything because you can't mimic what you're gonna go through in training. You
Yeah.
can't put yourself through that amount of stress and that just daily grind. And for me, my weak point there was running for sure. That was kind of my kryptonite a little bit when I was going through training. Uh, so I wish I ran more than I swam. I was a strong swimmer. I was a strong in the water, and I never took any type of formal. I was never on the swim team or anything like that. I was self-taught, but I was just comfortable in being in the water, and I got strong at swimming. But as far as running, and you run a hell of a lot more than you swim, and most people don't really realize that, but you're on your feet all day long, and just kind of like the cumulative effect of just like running from place to place outside of just like the conditioning runs and the tests takes a toll on the body.
Was it what you thought when you got there, and then as you progressed throughout out the course? I've had a lot of team guys on here, and I've gotten a lot of mixed kind of shit was easy, or like yeah, I could do it again, or that was the hardest thing I've ever done. What was the experience like for you, even though you came in my opinion, super fucking prepared?
The hard part about it,
Yeah, what was
yeah,
the
for me
hardest part, and like was it what you thought it would be?
it was everything I thought it was going to be, uh, and more for sure. A lot of it was eye opening. Right when I got there, it was like a surreal moment for me. But I kind of had an idea what was going to happen, but you don't really know until you're living and breathing it. But for me, it was just like that daily grind of just like waking up early, staying up late, getting, messed with by the instructors and just that lack of sleep. And, you know, like as I mentioned, my weak point was running. I mean, I literally got rolled in second phase of my first class for running. Like I failed my runs and I got rolled to another class because I failed. And so that was a huge eye opener for me. And I'm like 19 years old. I'm like a young buck, one of the youngest dudes in the class, thinking I'm all that and shit. Um, but yeah, I was in second phase and like you get a couple tries to pass the 4 mile time run, and every phase it goes down in time, so you have to improve. And I think then it's like 29 minutes. It starts at 32, then like 29, then 28 or something like that. But so you have to put out. I ended up failing. I got rolled like a month to the next class, and that like whole experience for me was um eye opening. So sorry about
Could
that.
you pass it now? No, you're fine.
My
Could you go
dog's
through the
sitting
course
next to
now?
me. Yeah, now I don't know. Yeah, that's a young man's game,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know about now, but yeah, it was good. I mean, it wasn't good in the sense I got rolled. It was a good learning experience for me, and I came back even stronger, more mentally focused. Like I was in, they call it rollback land for about a month, and yeah, I had a lot of time just to reflect, to recover, to train, and I came back even stronger. Like my running game just skyrocketed exponentially. I didn't let it, falter me. I didn't let it get to my head because I was so dedicated to becoming a SEAL. I was like, hey, you know what? This is just a minor setback for me. Um, I'll come back stronger, come back with even more work ethic. Because when you go to a new class, you have to prove yourself. Like none of these guys know who you are. You're an outlier, and you have to come in and be like, all right, is Kennedy a good teammate or what? We don't know shit about him. Like and you know how they base that off? How hard you putting out in class.
Hmm.
Like how's your work ethic? You staying out helping them? Are you putting out on all the evolutions? You're not sandbagger, so. And then that community, if you're a sandbagger in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna be eaten alive. I mean, it's unlike the LEO community. I mean, when you're in these types of communities, if you're like a shitbag in any way, shape, or form, you're gonna be ridiculed through and through until you fix it or you just go away. It's that simple to me. So I'm used to um, that type of kind of mentality. And it's hard to kind of nowadays when I'm in the policing community, it doesn't really fly. So,
Yeah.
and I hold people to different standards, but it's helped me throughout my life and holding myself to a higher standard than others. And I kind of just, it's done me well.
I don't know about you, man, but it almost, I get really passionate about people who aren't holding themselves to like a standard, whatever that may be. And I think it's like a fear that I have where I wouldn't, maybe, let's call it upset, where I get upset where I'm just like, why is this dude fucking off?
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that for them. And I think like internally, I fear that like, hey, that could easily be me if I like just stop holding a standard for myself. Like it scares the shit out of me. I know that it'll never happen, but it upsets me in a way where I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, because I can see myself through that person, even though that's never been me. And maybe it's just like an insecurity or a fear that I have where it's like, that could have been me. Do you get that
Yeah.
at all? Just being around high
Yeah.
performers all the time, man.
Yes. And just from my, where places where I came from, and now that I'm kind of out of that environment, but yeah, it's scary to me that how I just know how easily it is to slip and just
Yeah.
to falter. And when you see somebody like, especially nowadays, like, and I see people who are good, but I know they could be better, and I know they could. I'm like, hey man, if you just be a little bit more disciplined, do a little more work or whatever, like, hey, you're gonna excel, like you're gonna be better than me. Um, and you see it in people, and you're just like, it makes my blood boil. I'm just
Yeah.
like, dude, what are you doing? And for me, like you, because I know you're in the fitness community and you're big on that. Like for me, dude, fitness has been the foundation of my resiliency. Dude, I can't since I've been doing it. I mean, like
Which has been
literally,
basically your whole
yeah,
life. I mean, we both
exactly.
started in high school, dude.
So it pays so much dividends in my life that I always, especially now when I see people, I'm like, hey, and they don't work out, they don't take care of themselves, especially in like LEO community and stuff like that. To me, to me, it's like, hey, you're working out. Hey, congratulations for doing the minimum. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just like to me that should be like a bare minimum standard, and to my standard it is. To some other that might be an exceptional standard if they work out more than like twice a week. But when I look at people and I'm like, hey, you should be doing this, and why aren't you doing it? I don't understand your mindset, and it's hard to kind of confront people about it. Because as I mentioned, if I was in the SEAL teams, if you didn't work out, if you weren't in shape, dude, see you later. Because you're gonna
That's
get
it.
kicked out. Yeah, you're done. It's like the level of when you're around just like excellent, like you mentioned, just top level performers, you have no choice but to level up. And if you don't, like you're just gonna go away. Or you'll just be ridiculed until you just self quit, pretty much, in a nutshell. So honestly, I think it's good though. It's done me well. It's done. Looking back, I know LEO is not the SEAL community. It never will be. Policing is not special forces, but I certainly think you could take a lot of takeaways and kind of bring it into these types of communities and make everybody thrive. But ultimately, it comes down to the mindset, dude. And it comes down to self-discipline. And personally, I believe self-discipline is always the missing ingredient for everything because you could tell everybody what to do. You could like lead a horse to water, you can't make it to drink, but ultimately you have to do the work. Ultimately you have to like put in the effort to be better, to train, to work out. You could scream in someone's face until you're blue about what this fitness program you need to be doing, how you should be eating, but hey, once the camera goes off and they're off the phone call with you and they're just going sitting on the couch, they come see you 2 weeks later. It's like no gains, no nothing, saying why. Well, we know why, and you know why. So it's like those are the things that I think about nowadays. It's like that's what's lacking a lot of people is that self-discipline.
Hmm. We all can say whatever the fuck we want, Travis. But what are we
Yeah.
gonna do when we close this laptop screen? That's the thing, you know? Like I can, as soon as I get off this pod with you, I gotta make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. All my clients, I gotta make sure that they're squared away. Oh, it's been a busy week, this, that, I'll get it in. Okay. You're running out of days, dude. It's already Thursday. You
Yep.
only have until Sunday. Like I can pat you on the ass and I can yell at you and send you a dirty text, the whole 9 yards, but and come up with the best plan because it is. But I can't press start on the app to do the workout, dude. I can't not hit snooze for you. I can't drive my car to the gym for you to work out for you. You have to do that.
Exactly. You have to put it in. You can't get up, get yourself off the couch and go to your garage and hit the gym or go to the gym. Um, And that's my thing. Like literally nowadays, when I look at people, I have OCD, and I'm literally counting the people I work with, like how many times they're in the gym. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know why that is, because when you work with me, like I want you to be exceptional. Like I want you to be a good teammate, and I want you to be fit and strong. And so I pay attention to I pay attention to these things, and it's maybe that, like I said, it's just my OCD, but it's
No.
like, hey, dude, I haven't seen you in the gym in like 1 week, 2 weeks. Next thing you know, dude, it's 6 months. Next thing you know, it's literally a fucking year, and you've been in the gym maybe about a dozen times in a
Hmm.
year. It's like you don't know how fast time goes by, and you literally just start this slippery slope, and you're just lazy, dude. And you think you're good, and next thing you know, you're not. And it's like, boom, that you're out of shape, you gain weight, you're weak, and then you're looking back like, hey, what the hell happened? Well, dude, it's been like a year, and you think you've been going to the gym, you haven't because you're not keeping yourself accountable, but other people pay attention. Um, but then a lot of people look at me and be like, "Hey, Travis, it's easy, dude. It's easy for you. Hey, dude, it's easy for you, man. You're a SEAL. Like you know how to shoot. You're fit. You do all this shit because you're a Navy SEAL. I'm like, it's not because I'm a Navy SEAL that I'm like this. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with all this shit I did leading up to it and while I was in. And because I could have easily gotten out, Tyler, and just been like a flop. I could have
Hmm.
just like, hey, dude, I live my Super Bowl. Like, I'm good to go. Let's just rest on my laurels, and I'll work out here and there, and I'm good, dude. I know how to shoot. And I never shoot again. Like, I could just be like, hey, I was a SEAL. I could, But no, like I still continue to train, I still continue to shoot, I still continue to put in all this extra work after hours and on my own time. And yeah, it looks effortless. You know, like people watch your videos and like, hey, dude, how's Tyler all fit and shit like that? Oh, it must be nice, must be easy. But it's like, dude, you're in the gym 6, 7 days a week, getting after it, eating right, paying attention to what you do. And then when it comes to game time, it's like it looks effortless. And like that's what happens when you're a pro. You know, when that's what people like to watch sports because like people go out there and it looks incredible and it's like, but dude, all that work they put in, everyone's so concerned about the result. They want to know how you got your result. They don't care really about what you do leading up to that. Like what's the work you put in leading up to this that I need to do. People would just want, hey, I want what you have right now.
I'm gonna ask you this. I already know my answer, and I can tell you if you'd like. But the training, the shooting, the getting up early, the eating right. I'd imagine there's a lot of times, Travis, where you're like, "Fuck, God damn it, I gotta get up and get in there. Oh, I gotta go do this. I hate doing this," but you do it. Like people think I believe that they think I'm like fired up every day to go to the gym or to
Yeah.
eat this meal or to no, dude. No. No. I want to hang out with my kid. I want to sleep in with my old lady. Like
Yep.
that's reality. We're all human. And I'd imagine it's probably the same for you unless you're some sort of freaking unicorn.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I struggle just like everyone else. I'm human just like everyone else, and I'm fucking lazy sometimes. And yeah, dude, like I don't want to work out. Like I feel like I don't want to work out some days, you know, and I just a lot of days, especially like I work graveyard shift. Like, dude, I'm fucking tired, dude, going into work. I don't like want to work out before a shift. Like I'm smoked, but I know it's important. I literally have to work out. I know I'm tired, like I'm dead, but I work out because I know what I'm doing mentally. Like, even if it's just like an easy 15-minute little Metcon or whatever, like I know what it's doing for me. It's paying dividends down the line, but again, that's comes in that mental strength, dude. Because I think that's what separates, kind of like the mediocre to the really good is like, can you push past that suffering? And not a lot of people can, because a lot of people just be like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day or whatever, and it just kind of compounds. And but back to your question is yes, I get lazy. I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do shit sometimes, and like some days I'll just like eat like shit or whatever. But then I'm back on the grind, the next day. But yeah, people like I mentioned, people just think like I'm just like 24/7, 365, dude. Just like 4 a.m. Goggins run, fucking. I'm putting out. It's like, dude, I'm just like a regular Joe, dude. I'm a regular dude, um, just like everyone else. But I know the importance of it because I've seen what it's done for me. And not a lot of people have, A lot of people barely work out. You know how it is, dude. A lot of people don't take care of themselves. They don't really see the dividends that pays off until it's like 30, 60, 90, and someone's
Yeah.
been doing it for like a year consistently. Like, holy shit, where has this been in my life? But I've been around so many like people that like the majority of my friend group throughout the SEALs like were non-SEALs, but they're all in like I met them all in the gym, dude. They're all like fit, mentally strong entrepreneurs, they're educated, they're like motivated individuals. So I've like surrounded myself with people like that. So inevitably I'm like that.
Yeah.
But if so I think that pays a lot has a lot to do with it too. But
And I don't know about you, dude, but like I don't care about all this really. Like is it's a byproduct, right? Like looking good.
yeah.
For me it's here, man. Like that's why I go. That's why I continue to go and will always continue to go. If I skip or if I sleep in or if I'm just like, man, I'm just so sore, I'm good today. I'm not really good between the ears for that entire day.
Yep.
Like it just sets the tone. That's why I'm a morning guy. I like setting the tone for the day. Um, granted, I'm in a position to be able to do that. Some guys got to do it at night, which is fine. At least they get it in. But for me, first thing in the morning, Travis, it just kind of sets the whole tone to the day. And usually, most days, it's kind of the hardest thing that I do, which is good,
Yeah.
you know? So. And back to
I
your
agree.
point, man, the 15-minute Metcon or the 20-minute this or the 30-minute that, sometimes that's all it takes, man. If it's focused work, no phone, no chatting it up in the gym, that's all you need. That's
It
all you
really
need.
is. And I really push that on I'm like, dude, you don't need to be in the gym for an hour, 2 hours. Like,
Mm-mm.
if you have a nice workout and that's all you have, that's all you have. And a lot of people you're right, that's the only time they have, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get it in. But hey, if it's just like 100% effort of what you have that day, putting out, getting a good workout in, dude, I'm right there with you. It's a mental game for me. You're right. Looking good naked, looking shredded, looking cut up. Like, dude, that's just a byproduct of your work effort. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
your wife's not gonna complain about that either, is she?
no, it's not. She's
No.
not actually care about. But for me, it is again back to the mental game. I look good, like I feel good, look good, feel good. Um, to me, that's important. Like, I want to look good. I want to look fit. I don't want to look like a slop, dude. I don't want to have
Mm-hmm.
like a fucking dad bod. I want, especially in my profession now, I want people to look at me and be like,
First impression, dude.
yeah, it's like, dude, I don't want to fuck with Officer Kennedy because this dude's looking shredded. His fucking uniform's tight. His boots are shined. His hair is done. Like, I don't want to fuck with this dude. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this guy next to him who's a chubby ass lazy dude. Like, I'll challenge this dude. But to me, it's important, and not even just outside the profession. Like when I'm walking around, like I don't want to look like a guy that people could fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's paid off now because not many people, I've never had anyone challenge me on the street, but like you hear these horror stories where people just get fucked with, but like they're easy targets. But
Yeah.
and even in the LEO community, these horrible videos of cops getting fucked up, and which I hate seeing. But again, it's like it boils down to before a word even comes out of my mouth, as I step to somebody, they're looking at me. They're like sizing me up first and foremost. How do I look before I even talk? And most people don't even agree with me. They're like, "Oh, it doesn't matter the way you look. It doesn't matter how you
That's
sound or whatever."
complete
It's
fucking
like,
bullshit, dude.
yeah, I'm like, you're clueless because if you don't think people are sizing you up before you even say anything, you're wrong. To include the criminals. So
Mm-hmm.
they're looking at you thinking like, "Hey, can I mess with this dude? Can I take this dude right now?" Like, and if I'm a big believer in like command presence and like how you look. I'm huge on that. Hey, call it for whatever it's worth. I think it has a lot to do with like where I learned how to be a police officer. I'm big on like uniform appearance, having shined ass boots, having a fucking tight uniform where it's fitted,
Mm-hmm.
it's fitted. You
Tailored.
look
Yep.
fucking squared, you look squared away. Your hair is good. But I just think it pays dividends when you're on the road. And it shows that you're in charge. In policing, we say command presence. And
Mm-hmm.
essentially, that's just like when you show up on scene, people fucking know that you're in charge.
Yeah.
Whenever something you tell them something to do, you do it. Um, but yeah, like if you don't give a shit about the way you look, you don't give a shit about what your body looks like. And again, that boils down to, hey, that comes right back to our beginning conversation is, are you fit? Do you take care of yourself? Because people could look at you. Your body's your resume. I could look at you right now, Tyler. Hey, this dude's Tyler takes care of himself. I'm big on that. Like I look at somebody, even when I go to
That's
trainings and
credibility,
stuff.
Travis.
Yeah,
That's automatic credibility with me. You still might be an asshole, but like before you even open your mouth, I'm like, all right, this guy has self-respect.
yeah,
I can do that.
I'm
Hmm.
big on that too. And it's like I go to trainings or whatever, and if the instructor's some fat slop and he thinks he's some tactical badass, I don't give a shit how much of a badass shot he is or how much knowledge he thinks he has. If you're fat and out of shape, to me, you lost all credibility.
Hmm.
That's just me. Call it rude, call it whatever. That's my judgment.
Hey,
That's my bias. That I just believe that if how you take care of yourself really shows how serious you are. That's just
mhm.
me. So
No, I'm the exact same way, and it's like we're using kind of the example of policing, right? But dude, it happened to me 2 days ago as I'm walking to my truck from the office, and I'm wearing a tight shirt with my shit tucked in, glasses on, and these three homeless dudes, I mean, they were whispering to each other as I'm walking up looking at me, and as I got closer and closer, they just crossed and they didn't do anything. They just kind of put their heads down. I got a nice bag. I got shit in the bag that's expensive. They didn't want none of that. I didn't even have to say anything. I
You
knew
know
what
they
they
were
were
thinking
doing.
it.
I know they were thinking it, dude.
Yeah.
I used to work down here. I know that. Like it is what like I'm not an idiot, but they didn't want none of that, and I don't blame them. So,
I agree. Uh,
Mhm.
man, that happens so much too. But like I said, it's frustrating, but I always try to, to me, I'm big on nowadays is like motivation by like action. Like I'm not, I want people to look at me and be like, hey, Travis is like older, he's done all this, and he's still out there grinding. He's still out there fucking working out. He's still doing all this stuff. I'm not here to hold people's hands. You know what I mean? Like people nowadays, like when I became police, like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. You could be a real big help. You could, all your knowledge, you could help all these people and get them fit, get them trained up on fighting and shooting and all this shit. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I'm one man. Secondly, no, I can't because they don't want it for themselves. I could literally host all these courses and all this shit, but no one's going to show up. No one's going to put in the work after hours. No one's going to put work in after I tell them, put on some type of instruction. Like, so I'm big on like leading by action and showing up, every day, showing up early, getting the workout in, making sure my shit's tight, making sure when I go on the range, I fucking shoot good. And during fight training, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. Just like that way I could be like a show leading example of like, hey, this is what this is what it looks like when you put in the effort. So people could see it in real life in real time. I'm not the best at everything. I falter, but it's just frustrating because people think like it's easy as like, hey, let me just take you over here and I'm gonna teach you everything I know, and all of a sudden you're gonna be as good as me or as good as anyone else. It's like it doesn't work that way because especially in this profession, it's not the person has to put in the effort themselves, dude. I mean, you could host all these trainings. Like this is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to policing is like, hey, the department didn't supply this. The department didn't train me. The department didn't do this. Or when they mess up on the road, well, the department didn't teach me that. So it's their fault. Oh, it's their fault? It's their fault that you failed. It's their fault that all these years you were just being lackluster and you couldn't perform when it was game time. Well, you couldn't perform. Didn't matter. But like, this is the time where because of your lackadaisical attitude, because of your low performance over the years, you couldn't perform. It wasn't because of the department. Yeah, departments need to offer more training? Hell yeah, they do. They need to take care of their people. But I just recently heard this quote that I wanted to share because I didn't say this. I don't know who said it, but it was like a longtime copper. But he said, your department will never train you to the level of their expectation. And I love that. I love that quote. I'm just like, that hits it on the tee because when you mess up and you don't perform, they're asking why. They're asking, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? X, Y, and Z or whatever. Because their expectations like way up here, like off the camera, and like where they train their cops is like down here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, to me, that just resonated with me. So back to my point is like the onus is on you. It's not anyone else.
Mhm.
It's on you, regardless of they supply training or not. You need to be putting the time and effort to to level up your skill set. Period.
Bouncing all over the place, but this is how I like to run these things, Travis. So I know because you've already told me that you're not one to like rest on your laurels, but I think it's important to every now and then kind of just sit down and be like, fuck, man, I'm doing all right. I've done some shit. So I'm going to take you back there real quick because you've done a lot of good shit. When you passed buds, you graduated, you probably started off with 150, 200 guys in your class, whatever it was. I know there's always a ton of y'all in there.
Yeah.
And then how many did you start with?
One about 150 around that
And how
ballpark.
many graduated?
About 30. I think it was like 30 or 31. Yeah.
Can you take me back to like what you were feeling when you're like, fuck, I reached my dream. I accomplished this goal because I love setting goals, especially with my guys that I work with. I love having them set goals and helping them get to that. Um, but that's a big one, man. What was that feeling like of accomplishment?
Yeah, that was such a surreal feeling looking back when I actually graduated SQT and I got my seal Trident. Because after buds you don't, but like after all said and done,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean it was just like a credible feeling. It's hard to even put it into words, but it was just like surreal, you know? It was like sort of like a sense of relief, but like a sense of nervousness and anxiety a little bit of what was ahead. Because like now you're like really going to the SEAL teams and you're fucking, and at that time it was oh 08, yeah, 07, oh 08. Yeah. So I knew I was going, potentially going downrange, which I ended up doing. So I knew what that was ahead at my time as well. So man, it was just, I was just fucking fired up, dude. I was so excited. I was 19, you know, almost 20 or whatever. Like, so I was a young man still. Like, I couldn't even drink alcohol, dude, when I got my Trident.
That's crazy, bro.
So, like, I was like, dude, I don't even know what the hell I was like doing, dude. Looking back, I was like on top of the world. Like, dude, I'm good. I made it, dude. But like, I got
Can't tell me
humble.
shit.
Yeah, I got some humble pie as soon as went to the SEAL team. But
Yeah.
in that moment, right when I was graduating, I was pumped, dude. I was so excited and fired up. Like it was just like it was game time, dude. It was just like, hey, now it's time to fucking put on the real kit, the real guns, and fucking let's go, dude, and be a SEAL. Um, not all this training shit. But it was good to have
Was
all and
there
my family too there. It was nice.
was there any downtime, or did you kind of just get kind of thrown right into the fire?
There was, I mean, downtime, yeah, in a sense, like I got like a week off or whatever, but then post Trident, I went to combat medic course, which was 6 months. So I didn't go straight
Okay.
to the SEAL team. I went to this
Right.
medical course because I was a corpsman. So they're like, all right, who's going to medical school or medical course? And they're like, Kennedy, you're definitely going because you're a corpsman. I was like, oh shit. All right, I guess I'll go. I didn't know shit about it. I was just like,
And they wanted you to stay even longer, didn't they?
they did.
Yeah. They wanted you to do a
I
whole
got
year,
like,
right?
yeah, because I got honor man in the school. So this fucking Navy guy they hated the Navy SEALs there, dude. It was a joint, but it was Army base, and we're a bunch of fucking cowboy team guys, long hair, didn't give a shit about discipline or anything like that. Our goal was, put simply, was to beat everybody else and to kick everyone else's ass on the workouts. Like because we had a PT together every morning, like doing ruck runs and shit, ruck marches. Like, dude, we had to smoke everybody, and you know, we held up to the name we did, but they didn't really like us that well because SEALs are not very military. They don't have a lot of military bearing, to say the least. But anyways, like I did well in the course, and they're just like, hey, dude, we want you to stay to do the year long course, which is basically like you become an IDC, it's independent duty corpsman. It's the same course that Green Berets go to when you're a Green Beret medic. They do the whole year long one, but I am opting out because, dude, I was just so hungry to get to the SEAL team, dude. I was just like, because in the SEAL teams, like doing the year long course, honestly, doesn't really do much for you. It's just more like, cool, like you did the year long, like you have a little bit more training now. It's just like thank you, but you don't get any extra kudos or like pay or just nothing. Being the short course, which is the SOCM Special Operations Combat Medic, is just as good as anywhere else. So it's like, to me, I was like, is the juice worth the squeeze to be held back a year behind my peers, really? Um, at the time was no. So I was like, I just want to get to the SEAL team and just start doing SEAL shit, dude. I wanted to get in the workups and start deploying. So it paid off.
Did you go to Team 4 after that?
Yes, went to Team 4 right away. I got there, and when I got there, the majority of the team was downrange. So it was like me and like five other dudes, new guys that checked in, and they were all
I can't.
gone.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they were gone in deployment, so we showed up and no one was around.
I can't remember if it was after the first deployment or the second, but I did write something down
Yeah.
here, and maybe you left team four. I can't remember. You'll know, but there was a quote on that pod with Sean where you're like, "Hey, I got here and everybody's already done what I've done, plus more. So
Yeah.
now I have to prove myself again." Can you kind of touch on that? Because I mean, talk about a slice of fucking humble pie, man. You think you're all this, and then everybody's already done that, and then like extra.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. Like you're on your high horse when you get your Trident, and then you go there and you fucking now you're everybody's done what you've done and more. Like they've led multiple deployments. They're fucking warriors, dude. They've been down range. They've been getting after it. So it's meaningless that you have a Trident. Like it doesn't even matter at that point.
Because
It's just
everybody's
like
got one.
everyone's got one, dude. And it's
Yeah.
like, and now all the older guys look like, hey, dude, I also got. What do you bring to the table, dude? Like, you ain't shit. Doesn't matter if you have a Trident. You're a new guy. Like you haven't done shit. You haven't proven anything. So you have to keep your mouth shut and your ears open. And that was kind of like, yeah, that was kind of an eye opener. And I knew where you kind of, what platoon you're going to as soon as you get there. It's like, so I was fortunate enough to go like one troop. And at the time they're already in Iraq. So I already knew I was going to go to Middle East. So it's like, and these dudes already been there like two, three times already. So to Iraq. So these dudes are the real deal. They're not like going to Europe or South America drinking beers and like hanging out on the beach, dude. These dudes have been getting after it and fucking doing the thing overseas. So that was the tone. So it was like the tone was already set and the standard's like exponentially higher now. So it's like, yeah, it's eye opening. It's like you have to eat a humble pie and just go in and just work. Like I said, you don't talk, you just listen and learn and be a good teammate. And I learned this very early on. So I kind of adopted this and I use it as my kind of like slogan, but I definitely didn't create this. It was put simply, it's just teammate, self. And that's how it is in the SEAL teams. It's just like team comes first, then your teammate, and then when all's said and done, then you can start taking care of yourself and dealing with your own gear. We would say that basically on just how to take care of like your gear and just kind of your priorities in the SEAL teams. And the team always comes first, then your swim buddy, then when you got time, they can take care of your own things. But and I think that's paid off in my life, and I always try to remind myself um, to nowadays. But my priorities have shifted because I'm out of the teams now. It's more like my family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Family's first, my wife and stuff like that. But so I kind of flipped the wording and the verbiage around a little bit, but I just think it helps keep your mind right, especially at that point in my life. It was that. So and I was with like a core group of like five dudes, and like we were all kind of going in the same platoon too. So we all work together and just like I said, it's like constant grind. You constantly have to be performing, man. If you don't, man, you're gonna see ya. Especially when
You
you're
just get
new.
washed out.
Yes, especially when you're new, doesn't even matter if you have a Trident, dude. Like if you're just a POS and low performer, it's just like, hey, dude, you're out, or you're going to some other platoon where you're gonna be going to like Europe or something. I don't know, where you don't do anything, you have no responsibilities.
Let's call it what it is, man. Being a new guy in anything, it sucks, dude. Right? Like maybe you just get hired onto some job and you're the new guy that walks into the office, or now you show up to the your first day of roll call and you're the brand new cop that it's just uncomfortable. But being a new guy in the SEAL teams, I feel like is the ultimate new guy. Like, are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you like walking on eggshells? Or are you just like, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and just let my work and hard, just just my work ethic speak for itself? It sounds like that's kind of the only thing that you can do. You can't be vocal, can you?
No.
At
Yeah,
all.
it's a little bit of everything. Yeah, nervous, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit, but it's just like, yeah, you have to just perform, dude. I mean, at the
Yeah.
bottom line is you just have to you have to show your worth based on through your performance. Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
talk. Don't even speak. Like it's just it's like you only speak when you're spoken to. You know what I'm saying? It's
Sure.
like
Sure.
other than that, you're everyone's judging you based off your performance. not how cool you are on the fucking bar or whatever, like not how cool you are like, when we're drinking beers or whatever. It's like, no, how good can Kennedy fucking shoot? Can Kennedy shoot, move, and communicate? Is he a good swim buddy? A good operator? That's all they care about. It's like, and I don't, and when I was like an old guy or whatever, that's all I cared about for my new guys. I'm like, dude, can you be a good teammate? Are you a good operator? And that's what matters.
Hmm. Yeah.
But even today is in the policing world, I think it's good that being a new guy, always like on edge a
It's
little
good
bit, but
for
like
you,
yeah,
man. It's so
it's
good for you.
that level of stress is good, but it seems like that shit's going away nowadays, dude. Like it's all about hearts and minds, kindler, gentler. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, don't want to be you don't want to put that pressure on people, it's because it's mean, it's not good for them. It's like you're doing so many people a disservice by not building that stress. Think it's just like stress inoculation. You know what I mean? Like, are you just crumbling over just like sitting in a car with like another officer who's more senior to you? You can't handle that. It's like that's too stressful for you. That's too stressful for someone to your mentor, your FTO to confront you because you messed up. Like then you shouldn't even be doing this job. Then go work in and out or go work at some desk job or whatever. But
Great establishment for the record. Great establishment.
yeah,
Big fan.
I
Big
love in and
fan.
out. Uh, but like I think it's going that way. The trajectory is definitely going that way. I don't know why, but I don't think they look 2, 3 orders of effect down the line because they wonder why we have problems because it starts from the beginning. Like it starts from basically when you hire somebody and they're just kind of letting them get by through no standard at all, and they wonder why they're not performing later down the line. So
Dude, I
that's
think I, I think I saw I was like scrolling the other day and I didn't even really read into it, but I thought I saw like Gen Zers want to get rid of the thumbs up emoji now because it's rude. Think of that, dude. Like that's a real thing.
I believe it. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that you actually believe that too, right? Like what are we what are we doing?
We're wasting time. That's what we're doing. It's like
Yes.
our priorities are just not where they should be. Um, and yeah, that just when you when you appease everyone, you appease nobody. Like I don't know, it's just like,
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
and we're so worried about people's feelings. We're so worried about appeasing everybody. It's just like it becomes a detriment to the whole. And at least in the community that I'm in now, like even though I do enjoy my job, I love it. It's fun, it's exciting, and but it has its shortfalls and shortcomings. But I just see it is just like the people they hire, the things that what appears that they're focusing on, that they should be focused on other things, just seems wrong. I mean, like the standards for policing are lowering. Like I don't care what you say, I don't care where you are. You could tell yourself a lie if you want, but the standards to becoming a cop are lowering. Like they don't care anymore about how fit you are. It's just like, hey, can this dude like can he pass a background? Is he sort of fit? I guess so. Like they just get rid of like the basic Cooper standard, which is like the mile-and-a-half run, push up, sit up. Just get rid of that. Can they jump a wall? Can they jump over a curb or something? But so I think them doing that in the front end is really having a detrimental effect throughout their career and on the back end of like the type of person they become, because like they're so worried about like, oh, we shouldn't hold them to standard, it's hard, it's rude, it's racist, it's this, it's that. It's like, dude, if you can't even like do this on the bare bones minimum, like run a mile and a half, like yeah, you have 15 minutes to do it, but if you can't even handle that stress, like what what type of value are you adding to this community? You're not. To me, I think it's a big failure. So
Dude, we had a guy in our academy class who used to throw up before every workout. He'd get so nervous. Think about that. We'd be like in formation on the flagpole, and you would just see Robert like over in the bushes, just losing his
Just
marbles.
the nerves are like just
Dude,
overcoming him.
oh my God, terrible. And he made it through, but and thank God I never had to work with the guy because my goodness, man, that's tough.
I mean, your podcast, you spoke about it. Like when you described the way you learned how to be a cop, and your FTOs and how they taught you how to be a police officer and stuff like that is very similar to me. That's what resonated to me with your show, and that's why, I took a liking to you, to be honest with you, man. But yeah, and I think those like types of guys are just they're going away, and it sucks. It's just like because to me that's what policing's all about. Like I don't feel like I'm serving my community if I go out and just give tickets. Like I don't. That's just my
No,
personal philosophy. And hey, as a cop, I have that discretion. I don't have to if I don't want to. I don't care what you say. But like to me, I don't think I'm serving my community doing that. I think someone like me, I'm like I want to get rid of bad guys. Like I don't want criminals on my street, my community. So it's my job
crazy
just
fucking
to
concept,
to get rid of
Travis.
it. It's very
Crazy
easy.
concept.
And that mindset is literally going away. I mean, it's still around. Don't get me wrong, it's still there. But far few in between. And now more people are like, "Hey, why are you doing that? Hey, why'd you chase after this person? You didn't have to. Why were you out even looking for someone? You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to like go contact this person," which ensued into like a fight because he had dope on him or whatever. But it's like, if I don't do that, then what the hell am I even doing? Like,
If you're
why
gonna,
am I?
if we're at work, Travis, we're gonna fucking work, man.
Yeah, it's like, but nowadays people are questioning that. People are like,
Yeah,
what's the point? Why even do that? Why even? And then they hem your ass up, or then now you're in trouble, and then to me it's a detriment because then it becomes people become like trigger shy, if you want to say, or like they don't want to do shit because they don't even want to get in trouble. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to get the backlash, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it just becomes like this self-induced stress on the officer because he knows what's coming. And departments are like some are better than others, and not all departments are built the same. I know that. It depends on where you work, but in a nutshell, I think that's where I see this trajectory is going. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it's all of it's going that way because of just public scrutiny and the court of public opinion. That's just me.
I want to jump into the LEO stuff here in a second, but when it might have been the first deployment that you had. I think you guys had like over 100 engagements when you and Sean did the math, if I'm not mistaken. Really quick, what is a tick? Is that a gunfight? What is that?
Yeah, troops. We would just say that, but it's an acronym for troops in contact.
Okay, okay, because you guys kept using, I didn't know what that meant. Okay,
Yeah, so like it felt like it would at least a few nights a week. I mean, 3 or 4 nights a week we would get base
yeah,
contacts. We would go out and we would get in to shoot, a gunfight. Regardless if it was like from a far distance away or like close range. I mean, it was just like it was sporadic like that, but we would always be getting into something. I would definitely say that was more my second deployment. My second deployment was
okay.
way more um active than my first. But as far as like engagements are concerned, because my second deployment, we actually like lived in the village or like right outside of it. We were like embedded
Which
with
is
them.
crazy. I was like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
that was like the new kind of operation. They call it village stability operations, and that was like the big push back in 12, 13. But so we were always in it, dude, because the bad guys knew exactly where we were. I mean, we're literally right there. Like we were just getting, they would attack us every fucking night, like right at dawn, dawn or dusk, excuse me, and it would just be on it. And every time we went out, we would get in a gunfight. I mean, literally, and that's just how it went. But so I got lucky. I got fortunate enough to do two deployments overseas to Afghanistan, and then I did one deployment to South America, which was not combat at all, but it was still a cool experience. But my first two were I definitely lived. I got to experience like the full experience as being a SEAL. Like I got to go to war. I did all the training, did all the shit, and then I got to go to combat. Basically, like that's every team guy's goal is to go to war. I mean, if you think it's not, you you're telling yourself a lie because every fucking warrior that's in even in the military in general, like Marines or any, dude, they're fucking chomping at the bit to go to war, dude. It's exactly what they're meant to do. That's what their ultimate goal is.
They
They go
might get
crush.
their wish here soon, brother.
Yeah, they might get their wish exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was fortunate enough to experience all that, and I'm grateful for it.
Are you nervous, like knowing that you have a big op coming up, or if you're on a helo and you're going in to hit some village or some shit? I've asked that quite a few times to team guys on here. I'm always curious, like with the mood on those helos. A lot of times, guys will say like it's chill. Some guys are sleeping in the corner. Some guys are like you could hear a pin drop. Some dudes are just chilling. But like, are you a nervous wreck on that, or are you just confident because you guys have ran the script so many times and hey, we're just gonna go fucking do our jobs and we're gonna bail? What was that experience like for you? Because I know you've done it quite a few times.
I think when I first deployment, I definitely was nervous, like on my first few ops, and you kind of get your feet wet. But like as you get older in the SEAL teams, like dude, it's just routine, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
just like you've done it so many times in like training and like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and then you go overseas and you do. It's just like any other op you do, like back at CONUS, and to me, like every time every team guy, like when it was game time, we're donning kit, donning our body armor, our helmet, dude. It's like you're going out to the fucking field, dude. Like you're playing sports. Like you get that mindset shift. It's like you fucking put on the kit, the helmet with nods, and you're just like, I'm ready to fucking go. I'm ready to kill. I'm ready to do whatever I needed to do to get the job done. And it's just like it's sort of a surreal feeling, and I kind of just equate it to who people are in like sports or whatever. Like you're into football, dude. You put on your pads, you put on that helmet, dude. You walk out that field, like you're you're 100% like mind focus on what you need to do to get the job done. So and that's really carried with me my whole life too, even to this day. So, but yeah, when you're on the dude on the in the Humvee or you're on the Helo, dude, everyone's just chilling, dude, keeping themselves. People who talk are the people who only need to talk, and you just listen. If you're not one of them, you're just listening, and you're just kind of you're going through. To me, when I was on the Helo or whatever, I'm just going through the plan in my head what I need to do, where am I at on the stick, where am I at on the stack, what's my job, like what's my comms plan, what's my, E&E plan. I'm just like kind of rehearsing in my head always. I'm always doing like battle rehearsals, drills in my head, worst case scenario, best case scenario, um, my contingencies, like, and then once I hit the deck, dude, it's always like, all right, what am I gonna do if I get contacted right now? How can I best support my buddy? It's like those are like the couple things they always tell you, like when you hit the deck, it's like those things you always should be thinking about. Yeah, you got the plan, but you've already rehearsed the plan dozens of times before you're out there. But like when you're out there, it's just you're kind of like in like a flow state, You're just when you do something so many times, it's almost just natural.
What's the trust like with those boys? I mean, I already know, it's a loaded question. I already know the fucking answer. But for me, like if I was any type of nervous in that kind of situation, I'd be like, I'm with 8 to 12, however many of y'all go on these things, of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. I think we're gonna be all right. Like that's how I would talk to myself. Be like, man, ain't whatever we're fixing to do, they're not better than us. Fuck them.
Oh
That's
yeah,
how I would think. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's how everyone thought. I had no,
Yeah,
I
you
would
have to.
every time I was out there, I had no, dude, I wasn't scared one bit about my own safety when I was around fucking team guys. I'm like,
Hmm.
we're gonna fucking crush whoever tries to come at us. We're gonna dominate them, no questions asked. And yeah, that might be in some sort of a sense maybe a lie because we're all human. Fucking bad guy has a vote. Bad guy could get lucky, but not when you're
Take your
in like
take your
yeah.
chances though.
Take your chances
Yeah.
when you're in a fucking platoon of 16 SEALs of hitters who want nothing more but to put a bullet in your face. So it's like yeah, your confidence is high, to say the least, but not in like a bad way, but just like you, you're confident on like an individual level and as a platoon level because dude, all the training and all the things you've done personally and like together, you know your capability, you know what you're capable of, and you're just like a powerful like fighting unit, and you just not a lot of things that will be presented to SEALs or whoever that could overcome that, in my opinion. I mean, that's why they are who they are.
How often does shit actually go according to plan on those ops? Or are the contingencies just, I mean, is it just a laundry list of like, if this happens, we're going to do this, and then if that happens, we're going to do this, and none of that shit happens, and you got to basically fucking
Yeah.
make shit up on the spot. I feel like that happens a lot, but I also I asked that question, Travis, because I want to kind of translate it to everyday life. Like a lot of times shit doesn't go as planned, right? You jumped on the podcast the first 10 minutes. I'm like, I can't fucking hear this guy. Like, what do we got to do? So adapt and adjust and make it happen. Dumb example, right? But still, not everything in life goes according to plan.
No, it doesn't. Um, yeah, I would say not every op goes exactly as planned. There's always variables that you have to account for, and ones that are very unexpected. And we have contingencies, but it's not like we have 300 contingencies. We have like five or six. I don't know, like enough that we can remember, you know. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, if something happens, hey, fuck, IED goes off, we get overwhelming force, like all our plan goes to shit. Like, what are we gonna rely on? Our training, communication,
Yeah.
or our ability to think outside the box. That was a big thing. Okay, can you think outside the box? You know, and then even more, we would say this a lot. Are you a thinking shooter? You're not just some fucking robot like, hey, dude, sit here, point your gun in that direction, and pull the trigger. No, dude, you're like a conventional warrior. You need to be able to think on your feet and be a thinking shooter. Everyone's a thinking shooter. Everyone knows how to, so you're not voice activated. And I just having that ability to be flexible and make a decision. Like, can you, even it might be wrong, even it might be not the best one, but can you just like step up and make a call? Hey, dude, we're getting contact. For what are we gonna do? Kennedy, you're the team. Hey, one's base, two's flank right. You know, something like just make a call. You know, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna retreat or are we gonna, put assault through? It's like I think having that ability is key. Not everyone has that, but I think it's a strong, you know, thing to develop. Just as you use that example, work through the problem with their audio or anything in life. You get hurt or you get an injury that prevents you from doing something things, but there's ways around it. That's a hard. I even struggle with that sometimes. I mean, but like I have the ability, which I've learned early on, is like, hey, I'm gonna make a decision. I could be flexible, be laid back, but um, ultimately you can't just sit there and just kind of deer in the headlight and not do anything and expect something to happen. So
I'm not a huge quote guy, never have been. I think I would be if I could actually remember who said sometimes the quotes that I'm thinking of, but one of my favorites is kind of alluding to your point. The worst decision you can make is indecision. Not making a fucking decision. That's the worst decision you can make.
yeah, I mean, like I think like General Patton, he said like a imperfect plan executed now is better than a perfect plan executed later or something along those lines. I
See,
know
I wish
someone
I
will
could
butcher
do
it.
that. I can't quote guys like that. Fuck. I hate
I
you
mean,
guys that can do that.
yeah, I mean General Patton, one of the best generals of our in the time, but like he was an advocate of that. It was like, hey, you fucking it may not be perfect, but that speed, surprise, violence of action executed now, imperfect or perfect, is going to supersede some thoroughly thought out plan or whatever that you sat down and took days, weeks on. And I'm a firm believer in that too. It's just like may not be the right choice, but dude, if you just make a choice and run with it, you know, it could come out to your favor.
We're not gonna tell war stories on this fucking thing, but how how many deployments did you do until you transitioned into being an instructor?
I did two.
Okay.
Two to
And then
Afghanistan. I became an instructor.
was that just like a job opening or why did you choose to do that?
Yeah, it was open and I kind of wanted to learn that and give back. I wanted to be an instructor, but like I didn't at the time I didn't want to go to like this other training detachment where you teach like the SEAL teams. I wanted to go to Buds and teach the new students and kind of be a part of that process. And I got fortunate enough to do it, like which was very hard because going from East Coast to West Coast is very difficult. Navy really doesn't like to do that because it's expensive, but for whatever reason, man, they liked me or I got lucky or whatever. Like I got the spot, and they're just like, "Hey, Kennedy, where do you want to be an instructor, or what phase do you want?" And I was like, "I want first phase," which is like the selection portion basically of all the
Yeah.
buzz, but it's like the hardest, quote unquote, the hardest aspect of it. Yeah, I just wanted to be at the forefront right there, and man, it was so fun.
How
I
cool was that? To
Yeah, it was so
me,
cool.
Travis, that seems like one of the coolest fucking jobs in the world. That and like being a bullpen catcher. To me, those seem like the fucking coolest jobs ever.
It was. I mean, it was so cool. It was one of the best 2 years of my military career, hands down. Like I grew, not only professionally but personally, maturity wise. But yeah, dude, I was just like on the forefront of these future SEALs career. I was out on the fucking beach every day, working out, leading PTs, leading runs, fucking leading them on the O course and ruck runs. Like, dude, because I was an instructor there, I was like, you know what, dude? I remember the instructors that I went through. Like, they're very memorable. Like, I know them by name. Like, I know
Oh
the
yeah.
impression I had on me. And the ones that really kind of make an impression on me, the ones that were like, they're on the fucking grinder on the podium working us out. They were leading us in the run. They're fucking out there they're still doing O courses with the students and the ruck runs with the students. And like, I was like, I want to be that instructor, dude. I want to be the one where I'm like, all right, Kennedy's leading the PT, Kennedy's gonna lead the run, or we got the O course. I'd walk up to him like, hey, dude, if I beat you on this fucking O course, you're gonna get beat. But if you beat me, like, I'll give you a reward. Like, I would do the O course. I would grab my rucksack and go fucking on the demo pit run, soft sand run with the students and try to beat them. And they would see me out there and be like, "Oh fuck, Kennedy, I gotta put out." You know what I mean? Like, so to me, I felt that that was important for the student because it did have when I saw that as a student, I was like, that was motivating for me. I was like, dude, I want to fucking keep up with this fucking hard charger seal, like, because I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I want to do what he does. I didn't want to look like a fucking flop. I want to look tough and hard for the students, and that's important.
Could you tell first phase like, hey, dude's got a pretty good chance of getting through this? Could you see that?
Yeah, I would say I've had a good litmus test on kind of my first impressions with dudes. We would make like this board in the instructor staff, this massive board with headshots
Okay.
across. And before the
Would you like Would you like cross them out when they would like ring the bell?
no, before they even started, before the first phase even started, we would look at the board and be like, nope, 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 nope,
Really?
just based off they would look, just based off
Their
what
headshot,
they look
bald
like.
ass head.
Dude, you'd be surprised how accurate this
Really?
shit is, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like,
That's
holy
awesome.
fuck. I'm like, just based off how they look, their demeanor or whatever, just like, and it's like, nah, nah. And of course, we're wrong sometimes, but like,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how often we were right. But like, maybe that's just because it's like an 85% dropout rate. But like, regardless, like, even when you're first out there, like, you could instantly tell,
Was that
like,
just for
who's,
fun? Something that y'all used to
yeah,
do, or
that was just for
okay?
fun. But we would have a board that whoever quit, we would cross them out or whatever. But it's that first week on first phase, you get a good test on who's gonna make it or not. Like I could tell easily, just like by their personality, how they are like communicating with their teammates under the boat, under a log, just like it's very apparent. But some people surprise you, dude. Like I've been surprised through, a lot of times too. There's like very unassuming people make it. It's not like the expected fucking D1 hitter over here that thinks he's a badass. Like usually they go way first. It's usually the guys on paper that look like a badass and like done everything are gone the first week, and like the dude that
Yeah. I
does
mean,
nothing is like he crushes it. So
yeah. Like not every guy shows up looking like fucking DJ Shipley, right? I mean,
no, yeah. I remember when I was a
get it.
proctor. Yeah, when I was a proctor, you get the proctor class. It's like one instructor that he's like the go-to, the conduit between the rest of the instructors. So you get like an intimate kind of relationship with the class and shit like that. You hang out with them after hours, and like they found a picture of me when I first checked into Buds, dude. I look like a fucking, as a joke, they printed it and put it on my desk, and like I look like a fucking skinny rail, like a little fuck, like it was hilarious. But just to look at myself, I'm like, dude, I see it now. It's like when I show up looking like that, thinking I'm gonna be a SEAL, it's a laughing stock. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they done crossed your name off before,
Yeah, they're
yo.
like, nah, dude, like this guy is no chance in hell, dude. But it is what it is.
You know what I found interesting was you can when you're doing like the log, what do they call it? Like the boats on the head, what just boat
Yeah,
carriers, or what do they call that?
yeah.
Like where you position yourself at is kind of a big deal because I think if you're explain it to me, is it in the what holds the most weight? Just like
The center, it's like the two spot.
okay,
So you have like six people, plus your boat crew leader who runs in the center. But like, yeah, two basically the front and back, the bow and the stern, four guys, and then you got two guys in the number two spot, which is like where the boat kind of dips, right? So like that's usually like the heaviest spot, and these boats hold water too, so all the water kind of
oh yeah,
congregates in the center of the tubes. Um, so yeah, that's like the spot where you want your strong dudes in and you rotate out. So as you're running with it, your boat crew leader is like, hey, fucking switch to kind of disperse, the weight and kind of relieve guys too. You got your taller guys in the front, taller guys in the back. Um, or if you're like sandbagging weak, the instructors will purposely put you in those spots because
okay,
that's where it fucking hurts. And people
yeah.
start like they start running and ducking, like they duck their head like this, like they act like they're holding it when it's kind of it's like floating on top of their head.
They're
I
gaming
mean,
it, yeah, they're
they're
gaming
gaming
it,
it. So you have that psychological kind of aspect to it, and a lot of people quit because of that. Because when you're like in the boat crew and you see someone doing that type of shit, you want them gone, dude. Like
yeah.
you're just hurting everybody at this point. So and they end up quitting because of that. But that's the worst spot. And then on the log, it's the very ends. So the ends of the log are typically the heaviest, and then the center is usually easier because the weight's like dispersed, and like the center guy like barely has to hold anything. Because if the center people start sandbagging whatsoever, then the ends really have to really start carrying the weight of the log. So it becomes a detriment to everybody. So that's kind of how it has that kind of dispersed effect, and that's why those tools are used.
Sure.
They're really good for like just like teamwork and bringing out like people's weaknesses, and it really shows once you're like if you're like a weak, it really shows, like it's obvious, especially as an instructor. It's just like,
When you were in, did this is a random question. Did you chafe bad? Like
yeah, I
between
chafe
your
pretty
thighs and
bad.
shit? Like
Not really
that would
bad,
clean
but
take me out, dude. I chafe so easily that would fuck me up.
yeah, in Hell Week I chafe pretty bad along like the belt line, um
Okay.
behind my knees, a little bit in the groin. But I
Yeah.
wasn't terrible. Some guys got it worse than others. I don't know what it is. It's like different body types or whatever. Get it
Behind the
worse than
knees is
others.
weird.
Yeah, behind the knees.
Yeah,
Um,
that's weird.
it's just because like the sand, you're like the hot spots, like the sand and water get in like your groin area, your pits, like underneath your lats,
Did
because
that
you're
take guys out?
chafing. They no guys quit because of that, but it's certainly made them a lot slower and fucked them up. I mean,
Adds another element to the
adds a whole
game
new
for
element.
sure. Yeah, interesting. So after you were done being an instructor, did you go back out on deployment, or what was that like?
I went back to the SEAL teams.
Yeah,
Um,
because you ended up working with dudes that were like that came through the class as you were an instructor, right?
yeah, so like some of the guys I put through in training or whatever, and I ended up they were on the same team as me or whatever. But so I went back to SEAL Team 4, became a LPO. It's like a leading petty officer of a platoon. And actually, when I was done with Buds, I thought I was gonna get out. Like kind of at the time I was like, I'm just gonna get out and looking at becoming a cop and shit. I was still looking back then, but I ended up staying in because that opportunity came. I was like, dude, I want to be a leader, if I can do this. So I went back, did another workup deployment, and that's when I went to Colombia on that tour. And it was cool. Not unlike my first two, but it was still a cooler experience. It was more FID. Basically, FID is just like we train their foreign forces and work with them. We helped them on a few missions or whatever. They do like counter narcotics and stuff like down there, but we helped them on like a few, not a lot, and then we mainly just kind of trained them and make sure they're prepared. And it was just a fun deployment. I mean, really, it was just like a fucking kickback. We lived in a house literally like a football throw away of the beach. Had a private beach and like a 5-story house, and we were living large in my opinion. And a lot of guys I was with,
I'm
yeah,
sure there's a lot of stories you can't quite tell on this pod.
yeah, majority of the guys I was with never even been on this, like the first deployment, never been to on a war deployment or combat deployment. So yeah, so I had to really explain to them like how good they had it a lot of times, and I was like in charge and was like, fucking Wi-Fi is not working, or like this sucks. I'm like, dude, you literally have your own room,
We
huge
used to
flat.
live in this village. Let me tell you a story really quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you don't have no idea how much made we have it made, bro. Like we have like our own 2 cars. We go out in town, fucking have beers and have good food, and like we don't have to do anything. It's like
Yeah.
I would make them work until like 1 o'clock, and like that's it.
Chilling. How'd you know when to get out? I feel like there's always like not necessarily maybe a breaking point, but almost like a coming to Jesus moment. I feel like a lot of guys don't really want to leave, but they're kind of forced out, or there's something that happens where they're like, "Fuck, it's time to go," or like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, like after that deployment, I went to another training command, which is basically that trains the SEAL teams, and I became a chief. I was a chief. I be like led like this one block of instruction. We called it SAUC. It was Special Operations Urban Combat, and basically assaults or whatever block. And it was cool. And towards the tail end, honestly, towards the tail end of that, I was just like, you know what? I don't know if I wanted to change. Like at that time, I was pushing 13 years like in the Navy total. I was like 11, almost 12 in the SEALs, and I was like, I just wanted to change, dude. I wanted lifestyle change. That was my kind of mindset where I was at, dude. Like, I wanted to find a wife. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have a little bit more stability. Like, and dude, at that end of my career, like, all I was doing was just like working and like coming home and like fucking drinking 4 nights a week. I didn't have anything. I like literally like I lived by myself in a 1 bedroom apartment near the beach, and I'd literally go on work trips. I would be gone. Like my setup was my training. I would literally go away. I pretty much live every other month. I would go live in Louisville, Kentucky, because that's where the training was outside of it. And I live in town in a hotel almost damn near a month, every other month, every 2 months. And there I'd work, come back, go out to eat, drink, go work, and then I would come home and like live in Virginia Beach. And my life was basically that. It was like, and when you're home, you don't really do anything. And I was just like, I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere. Like, this sucks. Like, I had fun, don't get me wrong, but I was like, I want more.
You knew there
And
was more to life.
yeah, there's more to life. And I knew exactly where I would be going after this. I'd be like, hey, I'm going right back to the SEAL team. I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, the same things I've been doing the past, almost decade. Like, it's a lot of rinse repeat when you're in the SEALs too. Like, it's the same training, same things, go overseas. And Afghanistan was going away. So I knew my future would be like either Europe or South America. If I went back to SEAL Team 4, and I was just like, you know what, dude, no. I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else, dude. And that was just like, that's what kind of set it off. And as you make that decision, it's very hush hush. Like, hey, I'm only telling like a couple people, like, and because you want to keep it close to the chest. Not a lot of people accept it when you want to leave. It's kind of like you're leaving the tribe, dude. And it's like,
Hmm.
as soon as you start telling a lot of people, then you're already out before you're even like out, if you understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly
Um,
what you mean.
so it was just like, and at the end, I had a good supportive like leadership. He was really cool. He was I worked with him for a long time, so he was very supportive. Um, and at the end, it was just like, and when I got out, it was such a weird feeling too. I literally was like, my day was up. I went to, PSD, or yeah, whatever, our admin building, whatever, the big Navy admin building, grabbed my DD-214 and literally drove off the base and was like, peace out. And that was it. I could never come back on the base again.
Crazy.
It was like, it was such a weird feeling too, because I didn't go on any like leave or anything. I was like, the last like couple weeks, I was kind of like coming in here and there, whatever, just to like turn in shit. And whatever I needed to do, turn in gear that I had that I needed to return, and then you kind of just doing paperwork and make sure that's all lined up. And when your day comes, it's literally, dude, you just like walk in the office, hey, I'm here to check out. It's like, here's your paper, we signed it, DD 214, honorable discharge. Thank you for your service, dude. Peace out.
Now what?
Yeah, dude, it's like, well, at the time, I mean, I kind of was working on something. I was like, I applied for the FBI and I did it about a year prior to getting out. And so I was banking on that, Tyler, to be honest with you. That was my next move. I was like, dude, I'm for sure gonna get in, dude.
I'd have hired you. Fuck.
Like you're not gonna, FBI is gonna tell me no. Like
I would
that
have
was
hired
my
you.
mindset. Like, and plus I
I would
wanted
have
to
had the
do,
same fucking mindset, dude. Hell
and I was
yeah.
like, I made it through
No
a
brainer.
pretty decent way of the hiring thing too. So I was like, okay, it's looking good. Um, but I wasn't hired prior to getting out. But basically when I got out, like I did like the last, I was on like the second phase of like the three phases they have or whatever. And long story short, got like a little email, hey, you're not qualified. You're not hired in a nutshell.
That's hilarious, dude. That's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
It didn't even say the reason either. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they usually don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
usually
was
don't.
like, they just give you like the blank let. It was like a typical letterhead, like the standard government one or whatever. It was like, yeah, you're not a qualified candidate or whatever the case may be. And up to this point, I'm like, dude, did everything right, did all your fucking fuck games trying to get in, and
Did you have to go to Quantico or?
no, I went to like DC. I met with like the local shop first in Virginia Beach, and then I played like their weird games they do for like their interviews. Like they give you a ticket, you got to go to this random hotel, and like it's so weird how they do like these
Wait,
interviews.
what? No, no, we're not skipping over that. What?
It's like what you go to first, you apply online just like any other job, right? Then like you do the whole thing, go to the field office that's local, talk to them. You show up in the black suit and shaved head and like yes, and play the whole game. And then like you have to do a formal interview, which was like, all right, we're gonna send you a ticket. All right, you're gonna go to the hotel in DC. You're gonna go to this hotel. And once you get there, don't talk to anybody else. You're gonna see other candidates there, obviously, that are very obvious, that are candidates and stuff like that. This was just like a random hotel in Washington D.C. I forget the name of it, but it was just like in the middle of Washington D.C. And I ended up driving because I lived in Virginia Beach, but like said, fuck it, I'll drive. And yeah, you show up, you get like a time, you're all hanging out, you see other candidates there. It's very apparent who they are, but it's like FBI agents, like it's obvious, like there's a G-man over there, it's like, but yeah, you do the whole game, do your interview, and then you got your like the Pauly after that. Pauly's like one of the last things after the interview, and then so it was a really strange experience. I don't know, it was like a weird hiring, but I guess that's what they do. But yeah, I passed all that stuff. I thought like, and I was never told like, hey, no, this didn't go well or anything like that.
Was there like a meeting? I'm hung up on
It
the
was like
ticket
it was
thing.
like a board. It was like a no. They give you like, hey, if you go a ticket to your hotel, go fly to DC and meet at this date and time for your meeting, for your
Okay.
interview. It was
It's
like
like secret squirrel shit, but like not
yeah,
really.
yeah, not really, but yeah, sort of. It's like a panel interview,
Okay.
with like a couple other agents, like real FBI agents. Um, so they get a feel for you, answer questions. So you get like a little kangaroo court, but
Yeah.
yeah, all said and done, I got out and I was like, I moved back to California because I like lift and shifted, literally just put stuff in storage. Like, hey, I'm going back to Cali where I'm from. And I was like kicking it with my dad and like, I got the email like, hey, you're basically not going to get the job. And I was like, fuck. I was like, oh man. All right. At that point, I was like, now what? That's when I really felt like I was like kind of panic mode a little bit because I was like,
Yeah. Because I want to get into your
um,
transition.
yeah.
Yeah.
I say that moment right there, I was panicking internally, not externally, but I was just like, oh fuck, dude, like I was literally living at my dad's house, like at that
Because you
time,
had
like,
all eggs in one basket kind of thing with the FBI.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I sort of did at that time, and I didn't know where to pivot at that point. I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Like, I really didn't have a job. I did have a job. So I didn't have any like formal income coming in as far as that is concerned. And so I was like, where do I go? Like, what do I do?
And you're living at the crib, which is
Yeah.
like fuck.
And my dad's cool as shit. And I don't like, he's like my best friend. But at the same token, I'm like, dude, I'm 32. Like, I'm not living with you.
Yeah. 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 My dad's the
So,
same way. My dad's the same way. We're cool as fuck together. He's my best friend too, but like fuck, I'm living at the house, man. All the shit that I've done, that's gotta I'd be freaking out.
yeah, I was freaking out. And then
Hmm.
I started just like looking at other gigs I could do. Like, hey, maybe I'll go contracting, looking at that. Like, I could have done that.
That's a pretty normal route, right?
I did like a gig with like a private security company that was ran by team guys, like went to like Mexico City and to make some change. And then I got a job at SpaceX in LA.
Mhm.
I worked there for like a month and a half, and I was like, "Hey Elon, I love you, dude, but this job's too boring for me." But I was like, I was like, dude, I'm pro Elon. I like what the fuck he does, but I was like, this job is not stimulating for me. But so I ended up quitting that. And
He'd have
dude,
probably fired you by now. I think you clean house with everything, dude.
so at that point, I was like, you know what, dude? I went shooting one day with my dad's friend. He was a friend of mine too, but my dad's friend and my dad. And I was like, he was all into shooting, and I started like teaching him what I knew. And I was like, dude, I could do this, dude. I was like, I could just. And at that point, I was like, got the little light bulb, and I was like, I'm just gonna start my own shit. So, and that's kind of how I got that fireball rolling, dude. Like, as soon as I started my own shit, I met Sean. Sean had me on his show, and once I the Sean show completed or whatever, I was done with that. That's when I really had like the momentum. I had like the kind of like I was no, the notoriety. People knew who I
It's
was.
kind of that was your break, brother.
Yeah, and then
That was your break.
I just kind of rode that wave and just really just, dude, started doubling down on just like online presence, then doing like I started out just doing like private lessons on firearms. That's all I really was into. I did like private lessons, private group, and then that kind of morphed into I did like a couple like group classes, like open enrollment classes, and then kind of around 2020, 2021, and 2021, that's when I got like the bug to still to be a cop. I kind of like always wanted to be one, and then I started hanging out with more cops in like the firearms area. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of customers that were cops. And yeah, dude, I said, fuck it, dude. Like I met my wife. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time at the gym, a CrossFit gym. So I was like, I always knew that was gonna happen too. I was like, I'm gonna meet my wife in the gym, and I did. Uh,
Okay, yeah, we can't go over that. Who initiated it?
I initiated it. I hit her up because I saw her in the
My
gym,
dog.
and I
There
was
you
like, dude, I
go.
got to get to know who she is. I was asking around in the coaches, like, oh, they call her Leash. Leash. I'm like, Leash, that's her name? They didn't know her name. Her name's Alicia, but like Leash for short. And yeah, just one day I just fucking manned up and opened my mouth, and the rest is history. But we're married now. Been together for 6 years now, married for almost three. So yeah, she's been like the light of my life ever since I've got out. And then I remember at the time we weren't married or anything like that. We weren't even engaged. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking about being a cop. And she was like, all right, if you be a cop, I'm gonna leave you. She said it like
So
tongue
it's
in
safe to
cheek.
say she hasn't joined all like the thin blue line wife Facebook groups then.
No, she hasn't.
Good. Good for her. My wife was the same way.
She's a nurse, and she's a fucking
You
rock
played right
star.
into the stereotype. Look at you go.
Yeah,
That a boy.
I didn't know she was a nurse at the time, but when I first met her,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
she's a nurse. But she said it tongue in cheek. I applied secretly. It was like more so like I said like, hey, if I'm thinking about doing it, but at the time I already did it. Like I already knew I was gonna get hired. I was like, yeah, I did it. I'm gonna do this. And then so obviously she didn't leave. I called her bluff on that one, but yeah, dude, I applied. I asked around, like, hey, what's a good place to do it? So I kind of just joined like kind of like one of the premier agencies, quote premier one. Like everyone said it was good, and yeah, I got fortunate enough. I got hired. I'm like, dude, I got hired here, but for whatever reason, the FBI turned me down. That's weird, but like, okay. Um, Long story short, I don't care. I'm better off not being in the FBI because if I was in the FBI, I don't think I'd be the same person I am now. To be honest with you, I would definitely not have. I would definitely not have this. So,
You
um,
wouldn't have met your wife, any of
yeah,
that, probably. Yeah.
exactly. Wouldn't have met my wife, but so it
Mhm.
worked out well. Uh, but yeah, became a cop, and then fucking dude, like I got engaged after I finished the academy. Then shortly thereafter, got married, and once I got married, my wife and I, dude, it was more me than her, but I was like, dude, I want out of California. I just wanted to like I was just so sick of like the politics and all this shit and like COVID and I was a cop during I became a cop during COVID at the academy and COVID was still going on when I was on like
Dude,
FTO and all this bullshit and it was just like a joke through and through and it kind of I was like dude it wasn't
that was a
just that
terrible time to be a
yeah
cop, too.
yeah it was bad
Fucking
time
terrible.
and it wasn't just like that wasn't it for me but it was just kind of in general and like living in California was very difficult and is really expensive and like I wanted more freedom and I wanted to like better laws. I wanted to be able to go shoot my guns whenever I wanted. I wanted to be able to go buy whatever I wanted, like not get fucked with. So yeah, we decided to move to Arizona. And there was a lot at the time we were talking like Tennessee, Montana, Wyoming, like, like all the fucking good states and all that. And we kind of landed on Arizona
Great state.
because yeah, I mean, we live up in the mountains of Arizona, so I can't complain. It's a beautiful area. It's unlike people would think Arizona has to offer, but uh, yeah, I ended up here because it's a good little jump shot home. All our folks still live out there. We could get home when we want to. We drive home, once a month. We go see family and stuff like that. So it works out. And honestly, when I got out of the policing in California, I said I was done. Like I was like I'm just done. Like I'll just do something else. I have my business. At the time I'm sponsored by Smith and Wesson, I still am, but I had things going for me, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
uh so I was like, do I really need to? And then I lived here for pretty much like damn near a year and I was like then I went back lo and behold and I was like, I guess I still have the bug going back and where I work now, they hired me really quick. I mean, it was like easy day, but because I at the end of the day, like still feel like I have more to give as far as that. I don't feel like I'm gonna do this job for 20 years, dude. Like I'm not. I know I'm not. I can't do it, but at least for now, I'm gonna continue to do it, and because I do enjoy being an entrepreneur. Like I still do my business. I still have like work with companies and do that whole thing and like I want to do more of that. I just don't know right now I'm kind of at a pivotal point is like I don't know where to pivot because I don't my heart isn't into teaching people how to shoot on a flat range. That's to be all honest with you, that's not my passion. So I want to make people better, but I think I have a lot more to give on just like how to teach someone how to shoot a handgun. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that's concerned.
So you did have to go to an academy in California.
I did, yeah.
I think I know the answer to this, but how did you take that seriously?
Yeah, at first it was difficult. Um, I would say about a month, a few weeks in, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I just got to play the game. And because going in, everyone knew who I was. I mean, literally, the people were like already were like following me. They really like knew I was from online. I already had like a online some type of notoriety, I guess, like presence. You know what I'm saying? So like people
That's post podcast, right?
post podcasts, yeah. So I already had a
Yeah.
decent amount of like following, I guess, online. So people knew who I was, especially in the LEO space. Like these dudes followed me a lot did, and going into it, they knew who I was. Some people did knew I was from social media, or they read my bio. They knew I was a former Navy SEAL because they had to read about you and shit like that. So they definitely were like crosshairs on me. They thought I was going to be like some cocky, arrogant dude, like a know-it-all. But I knew that right away going in. Like I already knew they had this preconceived notion about me. But like it was challenging in some ways. Like it definitely wasn't challenging physically at all. But
You're right.
and I went to academy, I would say that was more paramilitary. Like it
Same.
was tough, dude. I mean, it was like marching, playing the game, getting beat downs and like working out, and stuff. It wasn't like a community college like it is nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
So it was good in that sense. It was challenging in a lot of others. For me, like learning how to be a cop was it's way different than being a SEAL. Like like it's so much different. Like yeah, all my hard skills transfer over. Like yeah, I know how to shoot, move, do all that type of jazz. But like being a cop is like knowing how to speak to people and just like navigating the law and like make sure you don't violate people's rights and just like know what you can and can't do. And there's a lot more stress in that sense too, outside of being in like a SEAL. Like you don't have to stress about that shit. So it's or worry about that or even think about that. But so I was challenged a little bit going through the academy, and it was a good experience overall, dude. I mean, it was a good 6 months. It sucked because
It
at
sounds
the
like
be
we had a really similar
yeah.
kind of path.
I mean, it's like yeah, you're waking up early, 4 a.m. Fucking, you got the shaved head, you're marching in. It's just like you got to play the game, dude. It was like
Mhm.
all games all day, but I think it really helped me on being the cop that I am today. Like I'll be real, like it definitely it paid off, and then like just like you, like show them to a place where it was like you were a cop near Memphis, right? Something like that, like outside of your first
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville, sorry, yeah,
Nashville.
Nashville. So like a city that's like hard charging, there's a lot going on, a lot of people, a lot of crime, and like the expectation is like high when you show up to these places for you to perform. And that's how it was for me too. Like I showed up like all my FTO besides like one shift was graveyards. It was literally like and to me, like the cop that works graveyards or swings, like these were the hard chargers, at least in my opinion, are or want to be. Like, and I never liked day shift. Like no, dude. Like I'm not a day shift guy, but so you're around, and my FTOs were like fucking gang unit, SWAT. They're all like a decade plus. Like these dudes are like heavy hitters, and I looked up to them. Like they knew what the hell they were doing, and they weren't flops. They weren't like, hey, go park in this parking lot. And I definitely had like one of those, I think, in FCO, but like, who cares? That was one out of 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really give a shit. But just like with anything, you know right away that who's legit or who's not, right? It's just like
Mhm.
it's very apparent. So it was a good experience. I mean, it really set me up now on how I am a cop, and that's why I'm big on like how I look and how I talk and how I present myself, because that's exactly how my FTOs were and did and taught me. And I was like, you know what? Looking back, like after the fact, it's like, you know what? They were right. Maybe what they were doing is the right thing, and like being soft on everybody is the wrong thing, in my opinion. So
You don't need this job, do you?
I don't. Nope.
It's just simply, I mean, you said it. You got more to give. Is that really all that it comes down to?
Yeah, I think that's for me right now in my life. I think what gets me out of bed is like purpose and service. That's been always like the driving force for me as far as like my career. And I have a lot, I still feel like I can give back, and in my small way, I guess, because, I'm just a regular copper in a local community. You know what I mean? Like I'm driving it black and white at night. You're not, yeah, not many people are going to see me besides criminals. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm fine with that. And as a matter of fact, I want it that way. But yeah, I think for the time being, this is how I feel like I could give back to people. And as I mentioned, like I do believe there's much more. I do believe I'm destined to do more. And and for the time being, it's this. And I think, like I said, I'm not going to do this until I'm like 59, 25 years or whatever. Like I don't want to. Like fuck, dude, this job is hard, dude. Like and even though I have fun, dude, this job is tough, especially if you're like trying to go out there every day to be proactive and do things. Like it's fucking tough on the individual, and it's stressful, and you're tired. And I mean, anything can go fucking wrong, dude. I mean, last night was such a weird thing. The first time anything the other night was, it's just to go to show you, this is just an example of just how fast like someone has the jump on you, and you could be dead in like less than a second. It's just like, I was walking through this dark area in this abandoned house, and I heard some rustling, and I was like coming around the corner. I was with two other of my partners, and I was in the lead. And I shine my light really quick, and I see this person. He was ducked out, and he lifted up and he pointed like this at me. He had this finger like this, and he pointed right at me. And I drew really fast, but at the same time, like I was saying, and after the fact, like the rest of the night, I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, I could be fucking dead, dude.
You
Like
didn't have your gun out prior to that?
I was the only one that drew my gun. I already had my fucking ALS uh depressed. Like it was already fucking halfway out, you know what I mean? Because that's just how I am, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for that to happen. Like I'm waiting
Mm-hmm.
for the fucking get in a gunfight. And it wasn't like out, but it was like fucking I already had unlocked, like it was ready to go. I'm around the corner, I had my flashlight like this. And because I heard something, I was like, hey, this is not right. And I kind of just turned, boom, hit my light, and I saw him pop up, but he pointed, and at the same time I drew. But my point being is like I could only go as fast as, my reaction's way slower, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and he had like this fake gun, like on his hit, on his hole in a holster. It was a fake gun. It looked like a pistol. But the whole night I was thinking to myself, I was like, those are the type of things that cops deal with, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like not to mention like the fights they get in, like, and the shit like that. And it's just like, no matter how much I train, and yeah, I was the only cop that pulled the fucking gun out because I was like, obviously I train, I'm pretty fast. I would say drawing, but like I'm not fast enough. Like that dude had the beat on me, you know what I'm saying? If he had a gun, I most likely probably would have ate one. If that was real, I'm just hypothetical at this point. But like when
Yeah.
someone stands up and points their finger like this at you, and like
Mm-hmm.
at night, dude, cops shot people just for that.
Yeah, and you probably would have got hung out to dry on that one
Yeah,
too.
if I pulled out my gun and just fucking sent one through his face, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I would have been bad guy. But like
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been in handcuffs probably. But like, yeah, it was just like that was the first time something like that has ever happened to me. Like I've been in fights, I've been in all this shit, but like just some weird situation like that where someone kind of had the beat on me like that, even though it was just his finger or whatever. But like, dude, when it's dark, you can't tell, dude. You can't tell what the fuck he's pointing at you. But yeah, it was just like a weird thing the other night, but it was something I thought about the rest of the night. I'm like, dude, no matter how much I train, dude, like I'll never be fast enough how someone's reacting to someone like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's just setting on like an ambush on me, I'm hopeless at that point. I have to rely on my training. Maybe he's unlucky, he sucks at shooting and misses me, but which I think is important. You have to rely on the training and to win these things because these guys aren't trained. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to shoot. But like, yeah, that was just something that popped in my mind. I wanted to share because it was just like a weird situation where those things could happen. But that's just one of many situations that police officers deal with. And I work with great people, dude. I work with good people. Um, Police officers are good, but I'll tell you what, though, there's many days of the week where I'm like, fuck this. Because you asked me, do I need this job? I don't need this job,
Dude,
dude.
that's what I'm saying, Travis.
I don't need this job financially at all. Benefits, I don't need it. I have benefits. I have money coming in. My wife has a good job. She makes more money than me, technically, as far as like if we just compare policing to nursing,
Mm-hmm.
she makes way more money than me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like to me, I'm not held to that burden. So I understand the sense where people this is all they have, and this is what they have to rely on too. So it's like to support their family.
Yeah.
Um, but where I'm at, I don't want it. That's my point. Like I set myself up personally like that because I don't want to have to suffer like that. Like I don't want to be in a corner where it's like if I lose this, I lose everything. It's like
Yeah.
if I walk away with this, hey, it's gonna suck because I like doing these types of jobs. It always hurts to walk away because in a sense we don't want to say it, but your identity is a little tied to it. You like the titles, you like the what you do and all this stuff. Like I'm a cop and like you get respect and all this shit. It's just like at the end of the day, like I want to be a good cop, but like I also want to be a good husband. Like that's my first and foremost priority. I want to be present for my wife. I'm not like signing up for fucking overtime left and right. I'm not trying to be a fucking instruct, doing all this extracurricular, because just like every other government job, dude, like they're gonna suck you dry, dude. You know what I mean? Like if you volunteer
Yeah.
for
Do
everything,
you
you do
do you
everything.
guys deal with mandates at all out there or no?
As far as like mandatory work or whatever.
Yeah, like if there's riots or
Yeah,
protests or anything like that. See,
yeah,
that's the shit that just bothered the fuck out of me, dude.
yeah. So if there's that, you have to go in, you have to come in, like they're short staffed, you have to fucking, because our department, just like everywhere else, dude, is struggling big time on manning.
Hmm.
They can't
Hmm.
even, they're losing more people than they can backfill, dude. It's like they can't even hire one, they lose six.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
you can't even, and the people they do hire are just are like, what are we doing? Like,
Not
why are we
not
hiring this person?
former Navy
Yeah.
SEAls.
Like, it always cracks me up. It's like people try to compare like soft to LEO or just like
Dude,
military to
fuck that.
LEO. It's
No
just like, what do you
way.
talk? Like
No.
the incentive structure in law enforcement will never be the same because it's like it's demonized. It's not like really glorified at all. Why would it's like I'm thinking to myself, it's like unless you like have some type of intrinsic motivation to like do it, like otherwise there's no reason to do it. I mean, I don't know, like hey, you want to fucking come get shot at, beat up for low pay? Fucking come over here, dude. You want to beat people's asses? Like if you're into that, like yeah, there's few people are into that. And like to me, like money's never been a driving factor for me. Like for jobs and stuff like that, like as I'm older, like I am concerned about my focus is on like that's why I like being an entrepreneur. Like I do want to make money. I do want to have other streams of revenue, and it is important. It is important to make a lot of money and provide and to have that freedom. I think is very important. Now, is it the ultimate driving factor for me? No, it's not. It never has been. But um, once you have a family, I think like you start to think big picture. Like money is important, but and that's why a lot of people I think leave even where I work because they don't get paid enough. And it's like I get it, dude. Like you don't get paid, you get shit on. Like why would you want to get your ass beat, get in fights, deal with these people for fucking $25 an hour? Like what the fuck, dude? Like like it. My dad always laughs at me. My dad's like, what? Like you want to deal with all that for fucking $25 an hour? He's like that doesn't even make sense. He's like, he's an entrepreneur, so he's like, what the hell? Like
Travis,
the
Travis, you need to start liessing to your dad again,
yeah, he's
Travis.
like he's like the math is adding up, son. Like I don't I just but like that's what I'm seeing. I think for the time being I'm good. I'm like happy. I like what I'm doing where my life is right now. It works out even for like business and like the things I work for sponsorships like and where I live, like have access to whatever guns I want, and I live in Arizona, I could shoot whenever I want, and so I have a good where my how my life is organized at this time is good. So, but I don't think my wife and I are gonna stay here. We're definitely not gonna. I foresee us moving the next 3 to 5 years.
Come on over.
Yeah, yeah.
Come
Montana
on
was one of
over.
them. Montana was
Come
you live
on
in
over.
Montana, right?
Yeah.
We actually looked at houses in Bozeman and Billings before we moved here.
Don't move to Billings, move to Bozeman.
We didn't like
Yeah.
Billings. We didn't like Billings.
You
We liked Bozeman,
you
but
yeah, you won't like Billings.
yeah, we
Anywhere
really
from Livingston west, you're good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or we are we also some foresight on some North Idaho too.
It's
So
a good spot. Yep, good spot.
so I think eventually next 3 to 5 years, maybe we'll probably end up lifting and shifting and kind of just doing a thing up there. But yeah, I mean that's kind of like my 3 to 5 year plan. And once I move from here, my policing career is done. Like
Good.
I'll hang up the hat. I'll accept it. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to go back like a year later and do all that stuff. It's just, I feel like I could move on. I feel like I did live my like, quote unquote, like Super Bowl as a SEAL and stuff like that. That's why it wasn't an issue when I left the first time. And yeah, I did have the urge to come back, but like once I leave, I'm going to be okay with it. I do love these. I do have a sense like a part of me is attached to these types of careers too. Like the titles. I like I was a SEAL, I was a
I'm
fucking
glad
cop.
you
I like
said
the
it
back.
because I was thinking
Yeah.
it, brother.
So
Mm-hmm.
there is definitely a piece of that, dude. And that's just me being honest with you, and because I do like telling myself, yeah, you're a cop, it's but I know at the end of the day, that's more like self-talk. I don't really, I'm not braggadocious about it really, like to anyone else or like even online. Like I don't talk about being a cop. I don't even say that I'm a cop, but like unless I do certain things like this. Um, so, and I feel like it's more important about what are you doing now, not what did you used to do. And
Thank you.
like even though I was a SEAL, like I don't like talking about it really that much anymore at all. And even though I will, but it's just like at the end of the day, that was over 6 years ago since I've been a SEAL, and it's just like it's
It's
to
not
me, it's
your
like yeah,
it's what you used to do. It's not who you are, brother.
yeah. And now it's more important about who am I now as a person, as a man, as a husband, and what am I doing now? To me, that's important too. It's like what am I providing now to people? Like what am I doing now? And sitting there talking about what I used to do, I don't think does anything. And I want to pivot into something more in business wise. Like I do like I don't know quite yet what it is. I haven't put my a pin in it yet, but it's gonna be something because I do like running a business. I do like having, I know it's hard, it's difficult, but I like just like the freedom aspect of it and what it brings and the satisfaction, dude. Because when I first started my business, dude, I had so much fire in me. It was so much fun, like fucking like building my website, fucking working with clients and like doing all this stuff and like seeing things that you built grow and like having that own self, you know, that's yours, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you see the result based off the work you put into it. And I really enjoyed that. So for me, the pivot from law enforcement and type of government gig is not an office. It's like I'm working for myself, period. I could
Mhm.
never do anything outside of what I'm doing now other than work for myself. That's it.
You already know this, dude, but you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I've known you for 2 hours, and I already know that about you. You can do whatever you decide that you want to do, and you'll be able to do it at an extremely high level, because you've proven that to not only yourself but to everybody around you.
Hmm.
You just got to figure out what that looks like, and that's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you right there. And it's kind of like you had like that burning, and I know you feel, I know a lot of entrepreneurs feel this way. It's just like, dude, you're meant for more. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
just like,
That's why I left, Trav.
yeah,
That's
like,
it, dude.
yeah, I have that feeling a lot, dude. Trust me. Like when I work, I'm like, I'm driving around sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, that's why I asked you, man. I'm
But
like,
like, I like what
I
I
can't
like what
believe
I
you're
do.
still in.
Yeah, like I like what I do. I get a lot of satisfaction from it. I do. And it feels good. And I still get the highs when I get the fucking bad guy, chase him down. I get all that shit. Like, top three things, my funnest things is like, my life is like, one of them is like fucking chasing bad dudes in a car on a foot. Like, that's fucking exhilarating, dude. But I know that comes to an end, dude. It's just like, it's like, it's all high fun and games. And then you have to fucking write reports for hours on end. But there are times when I drive around at night, dude, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm just like, dude, honestly, like, I make more money just doing this shit. I don't like
Hmm.
on working my business or whatever, like working 3 4 hours a day, then working a 10 hour, 12 hour shift at night. That's just real.
You're really good on social, dude.
So it's like I do make more money just doing that stuff besides driving around and making $300 a night working 10 hours on the road. So I play those games in my head, dude. That's that's like I'm being real honest with you. So it's like, and I sometimes get to the point where I'm just like, yeah, fuck this, dude. I'm just like, yeah, I'm good at being a cop. Like I have a lot to learn, but I know I'm fairly good at it, and because I want to be good at everything I do. But
Mhm.
it's always like a game in your head. It's like, is this worth it?
Don't
Is
get
it?
stuck.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm in a position to give a guy like you advice, but that's I'm going to anyways. Just don't get stuck. Don't get fucking 10, 12, 15 years into it and then you're like, "Oh man." Cuz I'm sure you guys probably want to have kids at some point. Just
Yeah, we
you'll
didn't
know
work
when
on
it's
kids.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll know when it's right, dude. Just don't find yourself getting stuck, especially if you don't need that shit, dude.
Because you do
once your
see it in
heart's
the
not
older
in it.
guys. You see in older
I
guys.
know.
I mean, people I work with, they're like, "Oh, I got 3 more years. I got 6 more years," and we hear it on social media like it's a fucking joke, but dude, it's real life, man.
It's
Like,
very real life.
people are chomping at the bit and they can't wait to fucking leave. And they like, "Hey, dude, I just want to buy a motorhome and I'm bouncing, dude." It's like, you just spent 20 years plus years and like now the only thing you look forward to do is leaving. I don't know, like you can't wait to like leave. And that's like a scary position to be in when you see it from like an outsider looking in. And not a lot of people, not a lot of junior people pay attention to that. Um, and as you know, there's a lot of negativity in law enforcement. Dude, I tell
Toxic.
you what, dude, fucking so many complaining every single day. Like maybe people listen once they listen to this, they be like, oh, they don't want to hear it, but dude, it's the truth. Every everyone I'm around's shit talkers, complainers. And dude, I get
Hmm.
involved in it too because I'm in it. Because I'm fucking, I find myself fucking bitching. I find myself complaining about others or just like the job in itself. And it's just like I walk away and I'm like, dude, I feel worse. You know what I mean? Like it's a negative, that negative self-talk, that negative, just speaking those words, like it puts a damper on your whole mood and like your outlook on the gig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it comes from all angles. It comes from like leadership. It comes from like your quote unquote like actual peer level. And
And that
it's a,
can lead into your home life, dude. I don't know
yeah,
how you are with being able to turn it off or not. But you can bring that shit right back to the house, right to the dinner table, man.
yep. Yeah, and I feel like I'm okay at it, like compartmentalizing, kind of just shutting it off, and like I was good at it in the Navy and stuff like that. But dude, sometimes I just come home, I'm a dick, dude. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like my wife says you're a dick. Like I'm not like speaking to her a dick. I'm just like I'm put offish. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I'm tired. I'm like I work graveyards, and I think I'm getting off. That's like bad news for me. Lack of sleep and shit like that. But like I think that just adds a toll to it. That's just like and just grind it just kind of eats away at you a little bit. And maybe you have a bad night with someone like a fucking person on the street or like just people like are just bitching and complaining constantly. I hate complainers, dude. That's like another
Oh,
pet peeve of mine. So, but I obviously complain too, like once in a while, but so I'm not saying I'm perfect, but when people complain constantly, it drives me nuts, dude. And I'm just like, if you complain, don't be here then. Like leave if it's that bad. That's my kind of mentality with it. But it eats away at you whether you think it does or not. And
hmm.
I pay attention to these things a lot nowadays that I'm older and I'm out and I'm just like, and yeah, like I always tell myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't need this shit. I don't need this job. I don't need it. You know, it's like, that's why I feel like I always have that advantage over, you know, the command staff or whatever. Like they try to hold something over my head or whatever. Like you should be here more. I'm like, no, dude, I don't need to be here more at all, actually. But, I think that's good for my mental health too. It puts me at ease a little bit. Um, when I have that layer to protect me a little bit. But yeah, that's doing this job I haven't been doing it that long. So it's going on 3 years now. So it's not very long, but these are just the things that I've been picking up on lately and I see in myself. And, just like it's hard when you show up every day to work and it's literally nothing but complaints and like people shit talking the department. I've literally been on roll call. I'm like, hey, do we have anything positive to say about what the fuck's going on here? Or is it just like
Hmm.
everything sucks ass? Because I'm like, I'm literally gonna leave. Because like,
Hmm.
what? So now you expect me to go out there and like chase bad dudes and put my ass on the line and like potentially get hurt for what? It's like then you start questioning yourself. Then you start driving around by yourself in a car for 10 hours. And it's like, I have so much time to myself at night. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like the shit I talk to myself about for 10 hours, dude, is wild. I'm just like, cause we drive solo here. We don't have partners. So
Y'all
it's like
y'all 410s or
410s. So we're
yeah.
by ourselves. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, all this shit's going through my head, dude. I'm just like thinking to myself, and then I go to call, focus on that, then I'm like cruising around, and then I'm thinking, then I'm just talking to myself or whatever internally. So there's been definitely times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm over this, dude. But then again, I fall back. I'm just like, I don't know where to fucking maybe I don't know at this moment in time, I don't know where to pivot. Don't know exactly where my passion is. So, like I said, my passion isn't teaching people on a flat range how to shoot guns, dude. I'm meant for more. That's why I'm not there. That's not my passion because I know I could do way more for people than that. Like change people's lives for the better. And although I think it's important for some to shoot a gun, that I know there's other more important things though. So I just don't know what yet. I don't know where I'm going to pivot to yet, but I'm constantly refining it.
Well, I expect a phone call when you turn your badge in.
Yeah, I'll just have like the memorabilia wall over there. You know what I mean? I could look back and reminisce when I want to, which I think there's always gonna be a time when I know that time's coming. You know what I'm saying? You see the writing on the wall. It's just like it's gonna be hard.
Brother, I don't I think it's coming a little bit sooner than maybe you think based on what I'm hearing on this.
Yeah, I think it is too. I just sometimes it's a hard pill for me to swallow, I guess. But I know it's coming soon. I guess I just need to see the opportunity, or I just need to be like, you know what, fuck it, and just do it, and just kind of run with the punches. And I'm pretty good with that. I'm more flexible that way than my wife, as far as like being that way and being a little unconventional and like jumping into something without like everything planned out. That makes my wife nervous. She may not say, it, but I know it
Pressure's
is. Yeah,
pressure's good. That's how I operate too.
because I remember on one of your things you talk about how you didn't have shit. You had no money, no nothing, no when you're starting your gig out, and like
Mhm.
you're having those talks with your lady, and you're like, how the fuck are you gonna provide, dude? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Like, go back to the job or whatever. Like, that's a lot of pressure on a man to do something. You know what I'm saying? But again, I do like just like you, like I thrive in that pressure too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good thing. I think pressure is a good thing. Like it either makes or breaks you. You could like just be succumbed with it and just be done, or you could push through and like you're gonna come out a better person overall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Man, I really enjoyed this. I don't do a whole lot of 2+ hour pods. I'd like to, but a lot of people just don't have a ton to say. So it was an honor having you on here, brother. For real. I never know what I'm gonna get. I say that a lot on here, but this
right,
went um tremendously, man. You're really, really good people. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know it's probably your off day or maybe you work tonight. Um,
it's my off
but
day.
I appreciate you sharing your story, especially with the LEO stuff, man. I coach a lot of freaking guys that are active LEO and that are kind of in the same position that you are in right now. Hey,
Are they?
maybe it's time to go. I just kind of need to figure out my next move. Department's not treating me right and stuff like that. So I can, everybody kind of knows my story, but to get somebody on here like you to tell theirs, that'll help a lot of guys out, dude. It will.
Yeah, I hope they hear this and they see it as kind of like a shining light that there's always more to life than your job. And like trust me, I walked away from being a Navy SEAL. Like, and some people be like, "Ooh, why would you do that? Oh, you're the Navy SEAL for 13 years or Navy 13. Why would you just leave?" Like literally, people say that to this day. I'm just like, you could do another 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, or whatever. I'm like, no, dude, I couldn't. I wanted something else. I wanted to change. Like, I don't need to fucking stay and do something for 20 years, but I don't want to.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like you're under no obligation to do so. So it's hard to really see that. It's hard to see the light and see other opportunities when you're kind of in these types of professions or whatever, or just any profession at all. But I think there is, and they just need to hear it from someone or see it as an example from somebody like in real time to kind of see it. And yeah, I know there's always more things to do. I know because I have that internal fire, just like you, just like I could do more, you know? And like, just like you always try to empower people to have that same feeling. It's like, hey, dude, you are so capable of so much more than you realize, you know?
Hmm.
Same thing with like we, the fitness and all that stuff is like, you are so capable of so much more than you think. Like your mind is so much more powerful than your body. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to carry you through this, through the depths of despair, dude, when you're down and out and you think you have nothing going for you. And then then you get some wins and you start getting out of that pit, and you start getting momentum. And then next thing you know, you're on top. But that takes that constant that constant thing, consistency, like every single day you got to show up. And that's what's hard for people.
It is. I want to be respectful of your time, brother. I appreciate the hell out of this. If you don't have anything else, I'll upload your file and get you out of here. You good?
I'm good, man. I appreciate the time. It was a pleasure
All
being on
day.
your show, dude. I was looking forward to this.
Me too.
Um, yeah, dude. I appreciate what your message and what you do for people. And yeah, just keep crushing, dude.
Thank you. You too, brother. Where can people find you? And I'll let you slide.
So people can find me on socials, just simply Travis Kennedy 267. Just look that up and
Is
they'll
that
find me out.
is that your butts class?
Yeah, 267 was my class I graduated with. So
Okay. I figured it was.
yeah, so people haven't caught on to that one yet. But yeah, Travis Kennedy 267. You'll find me on all social media, YouTube and website and all that. Hit me up
Awesome.
whenever.
Great. Stay on the line. Let me get your file uploaded and then I'll let you slide. Good?
Yeah.
All right, brother.